It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day too. Sure. It's a little chilly out, and everything like that. A little chilly. Uh, yeah, it's a little chilly, everything like that. But it's a beautiful Saturday. We made it another Saturday. I want to talk to you real quick, and everything. Hey, matter of fact, yeah, I wanted to wrap to you a minute because I'm just responding to a couple of emails. Uh, Somebody emailed me. I went to sleep last night after I got off my live. Again, I tell you, every time I get off my live, I get an email, and I did. And I'm going to respond to it. You know, never a dull moment. So basically, the question was asked to me, why am I so angry at George Carter? This was a church person. Again, asked me to be anonymous. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to be very direct. And I'm going to be very specific and to the point. And I'm going to leave that alone. And then God will deal with George, at a later date when he and I see eye to eye one day in a goddamn courtroom. Or if I'm standing over his grave, whichever comes first. When I first started having, I'll take that back. Before Mark died, before Mark Perry died, I had entered into some marital problems. I started discovering some things. I had some members coming to me. But they weren't even members. They were just coming to my church. They had spotted my wife in a couple places. At least that's what was told to me. I left it alone. I didn't even deal with it because, again, I'm not a jealous type of man. Never have been, never will be. I called Mark. Told Mark that I was having some issues. Mark's response was, bro, you mean she not even trying? I said, Mark, the girl ain't doing shit. She talk a good game to, to you all, and talk a good game to the people in the family and stuff like that. But when it comes to me, I don't know what's going on. I just know there's been a shift here. Mark didn't badmouth. Mark didn't encourage me to go nowhere. Mark didn't say nothing crazy. Talked to his wife, the then wife, about some issues. She knew. They gave me sound advice. They did. And I did what I was, and it picked back up here for a minute. Mark died. It started getting worse, and I went to my leader, then superintendent. I immediately contacted him and my positions. This was 5.5 years ago. And I'm responding to the email that I got. Somebody asked me a question. I'm dealing with it. So when the people at the church that were visiting my church were telling me that they were seeing my wife in certain questionable places, I didn't say nothing about it. Mark died. My then superintendent, George Carter, I went to him. I immediately contacted my doctors, told them that I felt like there was some fishy stuff going on with my medication. There was some funny stuff going on with my paperwork. It's a paper trail I got now with my doctors. So my doctors have been aware of my wife, interfering in my medicine, my in-laws interfering. All this is documented. So I was always telling y'all, make right, because when we go to court, these doctors got these statements. George Carter, I was advised by my medical staff at that time to change my power of attorney. I revoked my power of attorney, which my wife was connected, and I turned that over to George Carter. I never officially made him my power of attorney, but George Carter was over all my medical decisions, my medical record, and he was also a friend of 40 years. So obviously there was a problem in the marriage, or I would not have ever revoked care authority from my wife, because my wife had always heard former spouses that I was a nutcase, and her response every time she would get mad was to have me committed. Facts. You don't believe it? Call my children, they'll tell you. Call her dumbass children, they'll tell you. So obviously there was a problem for 6 years prior to my live yesterday. So there was a problem when Mark died. Mark died 4.5, 5 years ago. So there was a problem when Mark lived. There was a problem when the superintendent, now Bishop, is living, and everybody's stupid. But everybody said I shouldn't be mad at George Carter. Well, when you relinquish duties from your spouse and give them to your best friend, and your best friend working with your wife and stab you in the back, that is deep betrayal to the core. I knew him 40 years. Mark would have never done that. Mark never done that. Mark never done that. Mark never done that. But a motherfucker I knew for 40 years did that. And then left evidence that he was sending my wife money. So, all the motherfuckers that got up on the bandwagon, like I'm lying and playing victim. I can play victim all goddamn day, if that's what you want to call it. But I'll tell you one goddamn thing. I'm not a fool. I'm very intelligent. I'm very smart. I'm very hurt, wounded, and angry. And I'm going to deal with it the best way I can without going to jail. That's the only way I can say it. And, I just think it's weird how people, play these games. If there wasn't a problem, then why do I got doctors writing statements that the only reason that no one pursued charges against my wife is because I'm not 60 years old. And in Ohio, you have to be 60 before Adult Protective Services will remove you from the home on an emergency basis. That is the law. Got a statement from my medical professionals on my post saying the same damn thing. So for all you hillbillies, call me a motherfucking faker and this and that, you just helped your sister go to goddamn jail, and y'all going with her. And if I can find something for George, I got something for him too. But I wanted to share that because, I'll tell you, every time I get off a live, someone send me an email asking a whole bunch of questions. And I just respond to the question. But obviously there was a problem. It's a track record of a problem. And the problem wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? What I never understood is, how am I controlling when all your family lived off me? Your children stayed in my goddamn house. Your brothers wasn't going out there going against your kids' baby daddies and shit. That was me. They might have been fucking you, allegedly, but they wasn't helping you, keeping you doped up off dope. Pictures don't lie, people don't lie. But a song by Evelyn Champagne King, she sang a song back in 1981. And I want to flip the song. She said, "Kisses don't lie." Yeah, the fuck they do. Yeah, they lie. You say, no, they don't. Okay, well, go back in Bible days and think about Judas. You know what I mean? Judas kissed him, called him Hail Master, but the whole time Judas had an agenda. You know what I mean? Jesus knew that Judas was a devil. He knew Simon was too. But he didn't crucify Simon and Judas because they was devils. He just let them do what they was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like me. I've been knowing this shit for longer. But to have a concrete legal case, I had to have patience and build evidence. Because when you're representing yourself, you have to go beyond the preponderance of evidence to win a case. Uh, People in the church used to always call me. FP always groomed me and wanted me to be part of the judiciary. I eventually accomplished that dream for a short period of time under the leadership of, down in Dayton, some of the judiciary board. I've always sit in seats, whether it's Masonic, whether it's church. I've always sit in executive or official capacities where I'm issuing justice. I've always sat in those kind of seats. In the Masonic order, I was the junior warden. I was over the judiciary in the when it came out to handing out punishments and suspensions and different things like that. I was over that committee. When when I came back to the order, you know, they made me I guess you would call the guy a spiritual oversight. I was the grand chaplain. I was the chaplain in the Blue House. I was the grand chaplain. You know, past eminent commander. I've always been favored to be in position of authority because I've been trusted with that. Never been involved in malfeasance. Never been involved in playing with money. In church, in Masonic order, never. Always left with non-blemish records. But then when you expose truth, people blackmail you. Try to. I always tell you, you can only blackmail when you got something to hide. Let me share something with you. I was doing some studying early this morning. Good Lord woke me up early this morning. I was doing some studying, and a thought came to me about when people begin to disconnect. I had a flashback. My childhood pastor, Carl Vernon Kennerly, 709, shout out 709 East Grand Avenue, used to always say, backsliding and disconnects is a process. It don't happen overnight. You see people, remember I gave you a scripture about a month ago, you did run well. What did hinder you? People start out real zealous and they shout and dance and they in the front of the church, right on top of the altar. Devil be working with them in their mind, and they go from the front seat to the third seat. Start missing meetings, start missing Bible study, start missing prayer meeting, start missing different things. Next thing you know, they're in the back of the church, sitting in the very back. Next thing you know, they're gone. That's all a process. And it's just like marriage. When the marriage disconnect happens, something in the marriage happens, and it's gradual. It don't happen overnight. You can't go from being in love, happy, smiling, and then as soon as your husband starts going through major surgeries, catastrophic, traumatic medical experiences, life-altering experiences, and you shut off all affection towards your husband and push it towards your brother. That's some weird shit. I got a picture on my wall right now. I look at it every morning. Brings a tear to my eye. It says family is everything. Then underneath that, I have another picture that says be fearless. Then I have another picture on this side that says don't wake the dreamer. Then I got another sign over here with the and sign. And I sit back sometime, and I think about, how people that come from dysfunction, church, family, it doesn't matter what it is. When you come from a dysfunctional background and you got dysfunctional people around you that don't want you to experience true happiness, it's always your family that gets you caught up. It ain't the stranger, because the stranger don't give a fuck about you. It's always the motherfucker that know you. See, that's why a lot of pastors can't pastor their family, because their family remember when. You see what I'm saying? You know, a lot of my family, they couldn't look beyond DD, Dino, D. You know, they can't look at me as the authoritative figure or the leader, because I've always been baby. You know, I've always been the smallest guy. I've always been the one that was bullied and picked on, you know, ostracized. So they could never look at me in the light of a leader. They could never imagine me running a lodge. You know, they could never imagine me being a grand master. They could never imagine me doing all this positive stuff, because they out here being messy. And I've done everything that they wanted to do with no education. And motherfuckers get envious and jealous, wondering, how did he do that? I didn't do it. See what I'm talking about? I'm a favorite man. I keep telling you, any position I've ever held in my life, my first general manager job, not general manager job, my first management job, I was 17 years old. I've been running restaurants since I was 17. The only one that even came close to doing anything like that was my cousin Daryl. We both was in the same business. We ran restaurants for years. You know, we started getting older, we both fell off. But that's what I did for a living. You know, never been a bum. Always been a go-getter. Any of my elementary teachers, secondary school teachers, high school teachers told my mother all the time, there's nothing wrong with him. He's energetic, full of energy, overly outgoing. Labeled me a social butterfly, a kid that was misunderstood. So, what people don't understand, that's why I always tell people, you got to know people's history to erase the mystery. You can't just pick and choose what you want to believe. You got to deal with facts in life. Remember that show, The Facts of Life? You got to deal with facts in life. I told you yesterday, experience is what makes you, not longevity. Longevity don't mean shit without experience, because everybody's longevity ain't the same. Everybody's success ain't the same. Somebody's success might be, you know, living in a motherfucking studio apartment, you know, motherfucking 1966 car with no wheels on it, you know, but they got a car. They own everything. Some people's success is having mansions, cars, a whole bunch of women, diamonds, jewelry, gold. You know what I mean? And that's why I always tell people, see, people that ain't never had shit. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, don't worry about what it looked like. See, I done had all that material shit. I done had cars, women, never owned a home. But I've always had nice shit. Anybody's ever been in my home, you ain't never seen nothing nasty in my house. Matter of fact, no one ever saw me live in, and I'm not knocking it, ain't nothing wrong with it. And no one ever knew me live in the inner city as an adult. You know, but you get with a motherfucker ain't never been shit. Sometimes you swallow your pride and get down on their level, you know, and try to build them up to get comfortable into something. But then you got stupid motherfuckers in the peanut gallery that say he trying to make you think you better than us, because they don't have enough goddamn, you know, ambition to go do anything with their goddamn life. They hold their family members back. I told all my in-laws, and I told my father-in-law at that time, when I first asked him could I marry his daughter, he came all the way down from Texas. Him and his new wife and all his 15 kids he adopted. They came in my living room. I told that man, I said, you know what? I've been a lot of places in my life, sir. I've done a lot of things in my life. I told him, I said, I don't even know what brought me and your daughter together. All I know is I love her and I'm going to change the world. I told Clifford that 21 years ago. Yeah. I told that man I was going to change the world. And I'm going to change it. I don't need her to change it. But it would have been nice to have a partner and a person that really wanted to do right. You know, every piece of success that she experienced in employment, as a man, I made it happen for her. She was at a job busting her ass for 7, 8 years. They wouldn't even give her opportunity. I was working for a company. I called uh, management, ownership, told them, my wife been in this business a long time, man. You need to give her a store. And she was loyal to the job. Donato was doing what she was supposed to do, but they overlooked her. I kept trying to tell her, people overlooking you, talented, always empowered her, always gave her, motivation, always bought her nice shit. Matter of fact, after I married her, I threw everything she had away and replaced all of it. I quit buying her jewelry 4 or 5 years ago. My wife done had about 7, 8, 9 damn rings, gold, diamonds, bracelets, necklaces, all material shit that she's never had in her life. But you know what? That's why I tell people, be careful dealing with these hood rats. Because these hood women, they don't understand first the value of a dollar. All they know is street shit. All they know is go to work, get a check, live day to day, party all the time. They don't know nothing about stability. They can't offer you shit because most of them got kids that the baby's dad don't take care of them. They want you to take care of them. They don't have no goddamn goals, long term or short term, other than to drain your motherfucking ass. And then they got costumes in the closet where they put on certain masks around certain people to lead you to believe that they really for you. But then when God started exposing shit, then you got to just sit back and let him do what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I tell people all the time, y'all be mindful who you fucking lay up with. I told you 2 years ago, be careful, you men, pillow talking with your wives and your girlfriends and shit, because you don't know who the fuck they talking to. And I don't give a fuck how long you've been married to a person. You learn something new about a person every day. That's why I tell you, I think it's beyond the traditional time. And I think it's time for people to start taking test drives on these women and women on these men so you'll know what you're dealing with before you get married. Because if you want to be real about it, you really can only get divorced for adultery. That's biblical, if you want to be biblical about it. You can't just be getting divorced because y'all got personality issues. Somebody told me the other day, man, bro, you're going to be fine. I'm glad you are because you knew what you was getting into when you got into it. And I did. Right? But you expect people to grow after a certain point. You don't expect to be at point A in 20 years when you should be at Z because you want to cater to your family rather than your husband. You know what I mean? Because I don't know none of the motherfuckers are sick except on dope. I don't know none of them. I never knew of anybody to go to a hospital and the hospital lie and say that your wife is asleep and the hospital nurse forgets to put the phone on mute and you hear your wife talking with her family in the hospital and I didn't even know the bitch was in the hospital. Nobody called me. Nobody told me nothing. Then when I called back, finally they patched me through, talked to my wife. You okay? Yeah, I just woke up. Not even knowing I heard the whole goddamn conversation through the phone. So I'm talking about weird shit like that, and then, go to the doctor. I don't see no doctor papers. I don't see what's going on. All I know is, I had to get a breathing treatment, but you don't, I'll be confused. See, all this shit was going on 6, 7, 8 years. You know what I mean? And I never knew what the problem was. What I personally did, I never knew that. never knew that. And I'm just, I'm just glad that shit is coming out the way it is and the way it did because, you can't lie. Then every time I turn around, I open my goddamn email and I'm getting all these goddamn followings from all these in-laws and my wife and all this shit. But I'm a dangerous man. Everybody afraid for their life. I'm harassing people. I ain't bothering nobody. But when you bother me, I'm gonna respond. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about Shayla Favors and nobody else. All I'm saying is, I told all of y'all February 4th, leave me the fuck alone. Y'all keep bothering me. But portray this image like I'm the problem and it's all y'all because I exposed you. Now y'all afraid now you know you ready to go to jail. Now everybody want to, try to, save some face and, apologize and, subliminal goddamn, subliminal, slick ways. I'm not accepting no damn apology from y'all. I'm not accepting an apology from George Carter. I'm not accepting an apology from Benita. I'm not accepting an apology from Cornelius Hookfin. I'm not accepting an apology from Clifford Kimbrough. I'm not accepting an apology from Trina Hopkins, Daryl Hopkins, Shelby, Michael. I'm not accepting an apology from you clowns. I proved you all to be liars. Now I want to see the fate. This is Saturday. I usually do motivation on Saturday. This is the only motivation you're going to get today. I want to understand that. I want to understand where I played the victim at. I think I played the goddamn leader, really. Y'all just motherfuckers can't follow instructions because half of y'all can't even read or write. Especially Dwayne, goddamn, and them goddamn nieces of yours. Motherfuckers is dumb as a box of rocks. All y'all know is street shit. The only ones that even got a half of a chance is Chrissy's kids. The only reason she got a goddamn chance because she do all their goddamn homework. But she did. She did do their homework. Did her husband's high school. Did all his homework. And you know what I don't understand is, see, y'all support a little black weird motherfucker like Little. And I know his mama, sweet woman. But I don't understand how you can be a man, a black man in the family. We the only two black men in the family that's married to white women. You're not a provider. Your wife was in school. See, that's control. You made your wife drop out of school, pump her up with a whole bunch of goddamn babies, and then y'all live off everybody. You know what I mean? See, I didn't go stay with none of my in-laws. And no, I ain't going to say plural. One in-law, that was my brother-in-law in my mother-in-law's house. And that's when I got sick. I never stayed with nobody in my family. I sucked it up. Did what I had to do. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I had too much pride to even ask them, could I stay with them? I wanted to be with my family. My family put out I was a dope fiend. My sister tells me come over. I go stay with my sister. She had me unpack my car, come in. I'm going to grand sessions, training sessions, leaving out. I'm a smoker, so my sister never smoked, so I smoked outside. I'm in there talking, on the phone, FaceTime. My sister going around telling people I'm in the room talking to myself. I'm talking to my deacon, my officers in the lodge. She going around telling people I'm talking to myself. Then she come to me 2 days later. I'm going out of town. You can't stay here. Why would you have me come over here? I'm in my car. You hear me complaining? Nah. I'll call family members. I need $4 or $5 so I can wash some clothes. I'm begging for dope money. These days I wasn't even eating. See, because when I first became homeless, before I got myself stable again, I was eating canned food. Canned Hormel's chili, TV, microwave dinners, no refrigerator, no freezer, no income coming in because I didn't have an address. So all my benefits from my supplement retirement benefits from the government, so SSDI, was suspended for 6 months. So I have no income, had to pay a weekly rate at a motel, cars getting repoed. I was in the middle of a litigation with my job. Somebody leaked some information in my job. I had to settle for fractions on the penny. So you have a lawsuit, an active lawsuit, you get offered $175,000. Your family, your wife, and some other folk working for the same company treated. All they had to do is jump on board. Would have been a class action lawsuit. Everybody would have ate. What happens? You ain't gonna win that. Leave that alone. No positive, nothing. I ended up winning the lawsuit, but I had to use the fractions of that money to make sure that my wife had a car to get back and forth to work. She worked 19 miles away in Piqua. But I'm controlling. When I met my wife, she was walking. I don't walk nowhere. Now I do, but I never did before. I always had a car. A car paid off. Yeah. As soon as I get sick, I got to call my second wife. I got to call my second wife, to get a ride, to get some food. I'm married. I got to call my second wife. Christina Marie. And then what's so real weird is I went to my leader and told him, I said, man, I can't take this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I said some weird shit to George. I told him, I said, man, you gotta hook me with your daughter, Kimra. So I told him. We was riding on the way back from Brooklyn. And me and George was talking. As a matter of fact, it's the same night that, one of his officials played him, handed me a envelope full of money and told George, I'll buy you a steak dinner. George goes around and elevates this motherfucker, makes him the goddamn chairman of OSAC and the goddamn makes him a superintendent. That motherfucker wasn't lower to FE or Mark. It's this kind of shit that George do. Naive, stupid, rookie move. And that's what they do. The guy cried. Fuck the faithful, honor the crooks. Tony Smith, that was his name. I was trying to get his name a couple weeks ago. Tony Smith. Crook. Definitely a crook. Two-faced crook at that. And that's the same motherfucker was going to leave and go with David Herron. See, weird shit. You know what I'm talking about? But back to what I'm talking about. When people email me, I just respond to the email. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing, I'm just responding. And then, when shit come in my head, I just keep talking. But, I just found all that was odd. And now all the smoke is starting to dwindle off and people starting to really see what you thought was ain't, but what I know is, now motherfuckers, want some grace. And I hate to tell you I told you so, but I did. I told all you motherfuckers it was gonna happen. I told you that when you fuck with people, what come around, go around. I tell people that all the time. People don't get it. People don't get it. People can sit next to me. People can sit next to me, watch me move, watch me, do things, you know, never speak up. And I'm not the guy that look for praise, but I look for appreciation and gratitude. If I scratch your back, I expect you to scratch mine. But then a light bulb went off. I never forget Mark told me this. Quit looking for you and other people. Mark told me that. Everybody that hated Mark Perry. Mark was a wise man. His own kids treat him like shit. Facts. I don't even talk to his kids. I did talk to Tamika for a while. Try to encourage her and her mom. Her mom is weird as hell, Debbie. Try to be nice to Debbie. All Debbie wanted to do is run Mark down like a dog. I wasn't having it. That was my friend. I don't give a fuck what Mark did to y'all. He didn't do it to me. And he lived a holy life in front of me. And I honored him. And I still honor him. I think it's sad how people do stuff, man. Let me share something with you. It's really gonna fuck your world up. I'm talking about my subscribers and family members. Let me tell you why I went to the hospital. It's gonna fuck y'all up. I've never experienced this ever in my life. It brings tears in my eyes. I sit here one day, March 21st. I sit here in this living room. Man, I just cried. Literally. I'm a very emotional person. And that's another thing. My wife would watch me cry in pain and put me out the car because her brother called on the phone because she had her shit to do. I get 20 minutes a day of visitation while you're over there partying and kicking it with your family. We married. I sit here and cried March 21st, which was a few short days ago, a couple months. I cried like a child. I went in my bathroom. I grabbed my pills. I take 1,500 milligrams of Keppra a day. I take 1,500 milligrams of Depakote a day. And I had about 37 pills of Keppra, which is equivalent to about 8,000 milligrams, I think, maybe a little more, 80,000 milligrams, something crazy, something astronomical. I took the whole bottle of pills. This is March 21st. I start to feel myself fading out. I've never been a suicidal person. I still heard God speaking to me. He gave me enough sense to call poison control. I was on the phone trying to articulate to them what I did. My speech got beyond slurred, what I was told. And they couldn't understand what I was saying. When I woke up, the sheriff was kicking my door in. This is facts. I can show you the report. They kicked my door in. I'll show you the frame. They kicked my door in, and this dad on the frame of my door or locks. This is what betrayal would do to you. They kicked my door in. When they found me, couldn't get a pulse. property surrounded, sheriff, ambulance, fire department. Sitting in that hospital, my Carmelise. And all I wanted to do was go to sleep. Felt like I took all I could take. So don't tell me, you know, what betrayal won't do. Don't tell me what, when you sometimes feel hopeless. Don't tell me what experience won't help you with. I told you last night yesterday morning I lost so much because of envy, jealousy, and betrayal. And I met a person while I was in the hospital. It's always weird. I meet people in the hospital. This person was an atheist. And this person told me, he said, Mr. D? Yeah. They said, man, you got to stand up and fight. I tell you, I believe in transparency. You don't tell me what pain and suffering that I haven't been through. You can't tell me. You can't sit and twist your mouth up and tell me. I believe in documents. I don't need to lie to you. I've been through some shit. Mm-hmm. This report was, matter of fact, it was the 20th. That was at 10:51 a.m. Yeah. You see that? Those are facts. See that? I don't need to lie to you, man. I've been through some shit. People rather, instead of getting me help, instead of helping me and supporting me, people want to kill me. You know, this is what my family did. This is what my blood cousin, Trina Elaine Hopkins, and others did. And then when I come back, stronger than ever, bolder than ever, documents and lawsuits, now I'm crazy. You get people around you that know that your doctors tell you, don't take this kind of medicine. And then you got people sitting around you telling you, don't forget to take that, over giving you medicine. Giving you this, telling you, no, you don't need that. Oh, you need to go to the doctor, but you don't never go to the doctor. You don't go to the doctor, go for checkups, nothing, unless you have an asthma attack. And then when everybody feels sorry for you, go get high because you've been partying all goddamn night. But then everybody labels that on me. I don't have no history of dropping no dope. I got a history of going through pain, betrayal. Not street people. Family, bishops, superintendents, auxiliary heads, connected families. Then they mistreat you when you're with your wife, act racist, make racist comments, disrespect your wife, and then your wife get in bed with these same people, conspire against you, help you try to come to your demise. Your own wife. Some of my own children. This is what I dealt with for 20 years. It's the second wife I've had that's made attempts on my life. My first wife put rat poison in my mashed potatoes in the presence of my children. I didn't call the police. I just left. My father-in-law told me she ain't no good. Leave. And I did. Bill. And he was the man. That was my father-in-law, and we were very close. Very close. Extremely close. My second wife never tried to kill me. Never really tried to do nothing to hurt me. She was just young, and she was a hoe, but she was a good girl in her own right. My third wife, same manipulative characteristics. Greedy, a thief, a liar, sexual abused child, sacrificed her own child, sacrificed her husband. All because I didn't want you to quit your goddamn job. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean, my third wife. As soon as she got pregnant, she wanted to quit her job and be a housewife. I said, no, that ain't gonna happen. You be a housewife with me, it ain't gonna work. You need two incomes in this society. I don't give a fuck if you make $90,000 a year. You need an additional income because shit happens. But this devil here, I never thought the likes of it saved my life. That I would allow a person that was so full of hate for whatever reason to drive me to suicide. But that's a flex. Yeah. How can you stand up in court and say, I'm crazy and I'm all this, and you made no attempts? You're my legal wife. You override everybody, my children, everybody. You could have put me in a nursing home, which I asked you to. I told you to have me committed. You didn't want to do that. You wanted me in jail. You wanted me in jail because that's where your family wanted me at. And you sided with your family to have me put in jail. And I got all these goddamn documents on a host of you motherfuckers. And now is my day. I tell you, I don't know how much time I got here left. I quit taking all medicine. I don't go to doctors. I don't do none of that no more. I just rather do what I'm doing, get my bag and disappear, and continue to fight for justice for people that can't speak up for themselves. I'm not going to continue to go with the norm. I'm going to continue to be a disruptor. I'm going to continue to expose people. And I'm going to continue to drag people through the waters of truth. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I can't lie to you. I just told my deacon yesterday, it broke my heart. I've never been hurt like that before in my life, outside of my mother. Never. And that hurt me deeply. It really did. Hurt me deeply. I've been called every name in the book. People know me 30, 40, 50 years. Never spoke up for me. I paid people's rent. Feed the community on my own dime. And I can't get the holy folks to speak up and tell the truth. I can't get the upright men to speak the truth. They're ready to see me dead. And when I lash out, We want to involve the law. It's a sad day in these United States. It's a sad day. People don't understand or know how to define loyalty. Everything's convenience, transactional. It's a sad day. But this is what people like. But you won't get the satisfaction from me to see me act a fucking fool. No, you won't get that. But the satisfaction you will get is me laughing at y'all's ass when y'all sitting behind prison walls. That's the satisfaction I'm gonna goddamn have. When a lot of you pastors get exposed, and I got a couple pastors, some stories are gonna be coming up. I don't really be talking about all like that, but some other folks gonna be talking about. And a lot of y'all that's been sitting there worshiping these old men, you know, God great deal with y'all, especially in the Church of God in Christ. You know, little dudes like William Meredith and all them weirdos. That rain coming down too. I'm not even shocked anymore. The shit that be going on, I'm not even shocked. You got so much weird shit going on behind these four walls of churches now. Marriages, man. My deacon will tell you, I told him before he got married, I said, man, make sure if you get married, know who you dealing with. Know what you're working with, because once you get married, you a corporation, baby. You a corporation. And the only one that can dissolve that corporation is the court. People want to get married, but they like the idea of marriage. People get married for benefits. People get married for a whole bunch of different reasons. People ain't getting married for love no more. It's all about security. And I want to make correction. The statistics in the U.S. on divorce are high. Ohio's is quite low. Matter of fact, it's standard on a national level. 2.4%, basically what divorce rate is here in Ohio. But the betrayal rate amongst marriages is real high. Let me close the door real quick because this cat gonna be Gizmo. Don't you try to go out that door. I'm trying to tell you, boy. It's rain out here. Close the goddamn door. And that storm is here. The storm is here. I hear that thunder and lightning and shit. Man, I come put my goddamn blanket on. Shit, I'm about to turn some heat on too. But yeah, man, we gotta be mindful, man. Music, man. I tell you, music just do something to me. I was listening to that song this morning by Layla Hathaway when I woke up. I wake up to that on my alarm clock. What comes around goes around. And I just wish that people could just be real. Everybody's so diluted. Where the real ones at? You know what I mean? Where the real ones at? Anybody can fuck a stripper. You know what I mean? Anybody can fuck a dope fiend. A dope fiend do anything. You know what I mean? Anybody can fuck a content creator. They sell pussy. Who would give a fuck? Nobody give a fuck about them. You know what I mean? But you get married, you want a wife. You don't want a hoe. You don't want a liar. You don't want a dope fiend. You don't want a conniver. You don't want motherfuckers just letting, you see motherfuckers the same night my cousin came in here and put that dope on my table. My wife was here. You hear my wife clap back? My wife didn't say shit. To this day. She probably the one that told him to do it. Because my wife never get off work early. And for some apparent reason, when that motherfucker was in my living room and put that dope on my goddamn table, my wife walked through the door. This is what my cousins did. Send motherfuckers out to give me dope because I'm sniffing. I got an allergy problem. And they go around telling people I'm a cokehead. And it's my wife the whole goddamn time. You know what I mean? Trina knew it. She had all my doctor records too. George Carter knew it. He had all my doctor records. You think he looked in there? No. He sit there dumb in front of the doctors while I was on stroke watch for 4 hours with my goddamn wife, and both of them dumb in a box of rocks. I give you power over my goddamn medical decisions. My wife's sitting right next to you, and your dumbass wife sitting in the same room too, Benita, and they asking my wife questions of 20 years about my health, and my wife don't fucking know. And my leader is sitting there. Then 3 months later, my leader sent her some money and cut friendship off with me. And I got to make appointments to call him, and I got to call and apologize to him. You think that motherfucker apologized to me? Especially after I done exposed him? You think that motherfucker pick up the phone and call me? No, he had his flunky call me and tell me, the bishop said you can call him now. Fuck you. I ain't calling you. You called me. You offended me, motherfucker. I ain't do nothing to you or your wife. And I called her B. I called her Big Sis. I always looked out for Benita. I ain't never done shit to Benita. I just wanted to leave my wife and give her George's daughter. I think that's what made her mad. Well, I did. I think Kimmer's a pretty girl. I mean, I found out she was engaged or something. I didn't know anything about it. I don't see Kimmer and them all like that. But I told George, I said, George, you ought to hook me with your daughter. My wife calling me problem. She's stealing from me. She's doing all this weird shit. You over my medical. I mean, what the fuck am I married for? No, just go ahead and stay. Go ahead and stay. You know, Kimmer got somebody. You know, I did. I told him that. I sure the fuck did tell him that. I ain't gonna lie. And I told his other dude that was fucking his other daughter, the preacher over there. I told him it, and he gonna tell me that I was wrong for saying that. I ain't got no filter. I was just being honest about it. You know, I was just being real. That's all. You know. But, you know, if that was offensive, well, it was offensive. I'm just being real. That's what I said. But when you got a wife and you married, you know, and y'all ain't sleeping together, she ain't talking to you, the phone don't ring for a whole year, your phone always flipped over on the table, kind of you're being recorded, like she working for the FBI or some shit. Then weeks later, you find out that the bitch been recording you on the behest of Chrissy to try to get me locked up in jail. Because in the other police report, it said that the family was there as witnesses and all this. I kidnapped her and all this bullshit. You know, I'm just, you know, yeah. I'll just be tripping. I won't be understanding. Logic. All I need in this world is my word and my balls. And I got both. You know, I got balls to say what the fuck I'm gonna say. Oh shit! You ran up on that couch. You scared? Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm out in the rural area. You motherfucking storms be coming out in this motherfucker like crazy. I be sitting this motherfucker floor like, oh God, help me, Lord. I want no twisters coming sucking me up, you know. I want no goddamn tornadoes sucking me the fuck up out of here, you know, and everything like that. You know, I make light of that moment, you know. But I just wanted to share that with you today, man. You know, I appreciate the people that do email out of concern instead of coming in my goddamn lives acting retarded. I appreciate that. You know, I'm thankful for you. Subscribers, I hope this brings more validity to you. You irrigate, you know, so you can understand what this journey and how this journey affected me. You know, I wish I could have done it a different way. I really wish I could have stayed in love, to be honest. I really wish I could have. This ain't meant to be. It's not meant for me to be with anybody. This is really not. And I told my deacon the other day, I'm just being transparent if I'm allowed, you know, because I'm not a liar. I told my deacon I'm gonna do what I've been doing, man. I'm gonna stay on my goddamn Snapchat, my Pornhub, X-Hamster. I'm gonna stay on all my sites, talk to motherfuckers, video chat, whatever I fucking want to do, you know. But I'm not going out here getting no AIDS. I ain't going out here laying up with nobody. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do, keep my sanity. And if that means me having a drink, talking some shit to some of these weirdos that be on these goddamn internet, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'd rather deal with a stranger for free than to risk my goddamn freedom and all my goddamn money over a motherfucker that's just greedy and greedy for really no reason, greedy just to go to jail. I just understand that. See, when you married, this ain't no baby daddy, boyfriend, girlfriend shit. You start doing weird shit and you start doing some criminal implications. So that's a ticket to jail. You know what I mean? I remind that person all the time. Listen, I'm not your baby dad. I'm your husband. I'm not your brother. I'm not your mammy, your daddy. I'm your husband. And that bitch had the audacity to tell me in front of a room of hillbillies that she was raised to believe that her family come before anybody, husband included. And the woman that she told it to got in her ass, and the bitch went even more cuckoo crazy. You know, that's what's wild. You take me around all these goddamn strangers, take me all these goddamn towns out in the boondocks, and then disappear, and then tell people I'm controlled. That sounds like some trap ass weird shit. That's proven fact. Those are proven facts. Since I've been going through this surgery and shit, everywhere we move, my wife picked them out 60, 50, 60 miles away and then tell the family it's my decision. And all these weird motherfuckers believe it. Don't nobody pick up the phone and talk shit. But if I walk up on the scene, everybody, hey, Dion, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a long time. Fake ass shit. You know what? And my mother-in-law didn't allow none of this weird shit to go on. At least it didn't happen in front of me. Now I will say that, even though she was weird as fuck, my mother-in-law, Susan Diane Swank, did not permit this bullshit to happen toward me when she was living. Those are facts. Never happened. All this shit was happening behind the scene. As a matter of fact, my mother-in-law is the one that told me she was snorting cocaine after she got out of prison. And that slipped out. She was drunk. We was all in the living room one day, and Pee Wee asked, "You want a line real quick?" And I wasn't stupid. I was stupid. I wasn't thinking what he was saying. And she's like, "Diane," and she was looking at Diane, giving Diane the signal. Diane's face has got like real, and Diane tried to play it off. I'm passing the church at this time. I'm passing the church, and these motherfuckers getting my wife dope the whole time. She never quit snorting cocaine. You know what I mean? So I just never understood that, how y'all did all that hiding and shit, and I exposed y'all. Now y'all looking stupid. And I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I don't give a fuck about you being embarrassed. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about it. I tried to warn a couple of them baby dads about some shit that was going on. The motherfuckers always talking about stay out of people's business, this and that. Well, y'all weren't gonna be looking stupid. Just try to help y'all motherfuckers. And y'all black too. That's what really killed me. Y'all black too and see this shit be going down. But because it don't happen to y'all and y'all don't come around the in-laws, it don't affect you. But them same hillbillies was trying to get y'all two motherfuckers locked up in jail. And I see why y'all probably don't go around, but that's how they do. And then the bitch that my stepdaughter, and this is another thing I don't understand. How are you fucking in-laws? How are y'all bold enough in my presence, Roy Allen Pace, to let your brother's son talk sexual to my stepdaughter in my face, my wife standing right there, you got two goddamn kids and a baby dad at home that's crazy as hell, and y'all do all this weird shit, promoting infidelity, promoting incest, promoting dope, all this shit. Because that's all y'all know. Ain't got nothing to offer nobody. But some weird ass family reunions, some cover up stories about how y'all raping each other's cousins and nieces and nephews and grandkids, and then, working a goddamn job, staying high just to make it. And that's all you got to offer society, your community, your kids. What are you offering? What can you offer a man? Really? Besides pussy and dope and lies, what is it that you can give to a man? That's what I want to know. Outside of the drama, outside all that, what can you offer? None of you are chase housekeepers. You know, all y'all play the pussy game card. Your old man make you mad. You don't want to fuck for 4, 5, 6 months, and y'all get in huddles and sit and brag and talk about it. You know, I remember one night I was playing drunk. My daughter was living downstairs. This motherfucker and my wife had been entangled with on her job, whether it was infidelity or not, I don't know. Some white boy named Dave. Mysteriously, that's the same name I was called when I was fucking my wife one day. And this motherfucker popped up in my house. He had been giving my wife money for quite some time. And I find out about it. Me, my wife, my daughter, we sitting on the couch in my living room. My wife used to wear these spaghetti strap t-shirts all the time around the house. This man comes in my house. I tell my wife, go get a bra. My wife look at me and tell me, what the fuck you mean? This is my buddy from work. This is what my wife tells me. I just look at her, I ain't say shit. You know, little weird shit like that. And I always tell people, if I ask you a question, I already know the answer to it. Ask my deacon, I'm good at it. If I ask you a question, I already know the answer. I'm just going to see if you're going to do what? Keep it real. And time after time, I was lied to right in my face. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you take me over the edge like that, where I feel like I got to take my life, yeah, it's over. Yep. Heart still mending, you know what I mean? But I will be sending you all to jail. That's my gift to you for the hell y'all put me through. That's my special gift to you because you're now my latest and greatest inspiration of Get Back. I just wanted you to know that. And that's my Saturday, hour and 7 to get you ready for heaven. And hope you enjoyed that. Hope you suffer long. But Beth, I did give you a little grace. I paused the post on TikTok. I got about 199 views on that about that challenge you gave me. But I paused that for you, Miss E Step. You know, that way it's in freeze mode. And you can look at that every now and then when y'all go troll on my goddamn TikTok. You know. So if y'all motherfuckers didn't want no smoke or no fire, you should have left me alone. One. If you didn't want to lose your marriage, you should have stayed in the marriage and fought for it. Now you want to troll me. Fine. You know, troll that on this Saturday. Cartoon day. Ain't nothing funny about it, though. And when I get done with you, George Leon Carter, it's going to be bad for you. When I make this final move on the National Church of God in Christ, I'm not even going to sue you, but I got some just very, very good information that I'm going to leak to the press on one of you senior men in the Lord's church up in that presidium. I'm going to leak it to the press. I told you I'm going to fuck Ohio up, shake some shit up, and I'm going to dismantle the Church of God in Christ. If you think this is a joke, I'm so full of pain and anguish. At peace, though. But all I got on my mind is revenge and payback. You know what I mean? Old song Millie Rippleton sang, "You abandoned me. Love don't live here no more. Hate don't either, but love definitely don't." And I'm going to leak that information to the press. And that's why I told somebody last night before I went to sleep. I said, it must have been God's will for me and my little brother to fall out. My brother's an anchor man for NBC. It must have been God's will because I know good and damn well it wouldn't took nothing but a phone call to call my brother, do a story. But I got other resources. Don't worry about it. Once I get some shit taken care of in court, I'll be back in business full time like I was before. I told you you should have killed me when you had a chance. It's too late now. Even if you kill me now, paperwork's already in the court system. So the secret's out and it'll be public record here pretty soon. So I'm not even worried about that. But revenge is on my mind. I want you to forget that. God got a good memory, but I do too. I won't leave you with that. I got a damn good memory. I don't never forget. I play stupid. Just lead y'all into the trap. And it worked. I appreciate you. Hey, I gotta go, man. I don't want to live like crying today. I really do. Whew. This is something else. It's real explosive when all this shit unfolded. But a lot of innocent people are going to be sent away because of 2 or 3 people's lies and deceit. And I'm not going to take the weight of that. I'm not going to own that because I did what was right. I did what I was taught to do. I did what you old men trained us to do. Cover your wife. I didn't do it the first, second, and third time, but the 4th time was a charm, and I did what I was supposed to do as a husband, as a pastor, as a leader. I did it. I did it. And then we wonder why people don't like going to church. Wonder why all the church folks are getting bashed now. You teach us to do all this stuff, and then we do it. And then y'all do the opposite of what you teach us. And then you crucify us when we expose you. If I came on here these last 2 days with my whiskey glass full, cussing folk out, threatening to kill them and all this, people be hyped up, ready. But people don't know how to take me because they don't know which way I'm coming from one day to the next. All they know is I'm pissed. And I'm reminding people not to fuck with me. And when I felt like I had to take my own life, I knew without a shadow of a doubt when I bounced back, and I did quickly, I was going to fuck some shit up. And I mean that. And I still stand on what the fuck I said. I'm going to die for what I believe in. I stand for truth. And I don't give a damn how long it took. I stood solid until the truth was exposed. Now we're in the court system. And I want to see what the fuck happened now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the faithful subscribers. Like, share, and subscribe. I got some more information coming later today. And I wanted to share that with you. You got a motherfucker protecting you. You better stay within that hedge of protection. Because when the hedge of protection is gone, it's open season. It's green light. I want to say to you, Phyllis, if you would have just aborted maybe we wouldn't be here, but you didn't. There's a song back in about 1983. Abortion was really going rampant in the world around about that time. There's a little Saturday morning program I used to listen to when I was a kid called Uncle Charlie on WEEC in Springfield. Every Saturday morning I listened to that. Because we didn't watch TV, so we had children's programming, religious programming on that channel we listened to. Aunt Sue and Uncle Dan, Uncle Charlie. And there's a little kids chorale that sung a song called Let Me Live. And it was a little fetus singing to the mom from the womb. And then they had the little kid choir in the background singing that song, Let Me Live. I just wanted to live, man. And y'all wanted to kill me. You know. I'm going to deal with my father's side of the family this afternoon. And they're not bad people. They're not. But there's a hierarchy within that Charles family that's dangerous. It's a hierarchy. My sister was the first girl born in the family on that side. And everybody worshiped her. They terrified of her. You think she was God. She talked to my dad crazy, talked to everybody crazy. Everybody terrified of Tracy Yvette Charles. But me. Everybody's scared of my Uncle Willie. We call him Junior. Down there in Houston. On Oak Coat Drive, I think he's still living the same place. He's been there about 50 years. Ever since I was born, he's been living there. Everybody's scared of Junior. Everybody honors my Uncle Eric, the preacher, pastor. I think he's retired pastor now out there in Road Terrace down there in Dallas. And then everybody treat my other two uncles like outcasts, Eddie Ray and Freddie. My Uncle Larry, he's about close to my age. And Larry, he's pushing about 63, 64, should be. And then Terry, he's the police. I think he's retired sergeant in Houston Police Department down in Harris County. Never had any aunts on my dad's side. They died when they were kids. One choked on a toothpick, I think, and one died of polio. Leela May, I think one of my aunts' name was Leela May. And then there's 8 of them. Junior, Leo, Terry, Eddie Ray, Larry, Freddie. Freddie come from Fifth Ward. And my daddy, Benny. My dad next to I think my dad's the middle one. My dad would be 78 this year, 77 or 78, I think. He was born in 47, I think. No, man, Jerry was born in 47. He had to be born in 48. Yeah, he was older than my mother. He had to be born at 48. 48, 47, something like that. I know he was born around the same time my Aunt Jerry was born. It was a pretty cool car. They used to play Bid Whiz and shit together. But make a long story short, my dad, I love my father. I just didn't know him. I mean, I know my dad, but I didn't know him. I didn't grow up with him. My mom was a piece of shit, and my dad went on and did his own thing. But I just think it's weird how, and I know if I'd have moved to Texas, I'd been fine. When I first lost my shit, my dad wanted me to come to Texas. I could have went to Texas. I could have went to Texas after I divorced my first wife. Stayed there with my Uncle Eddie Ray and Shepherd. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be here. I got children here. When we went to Troy, Ohio, my dad had a conversation with me. And my dad was ready to buy me a ticket and told me to bring my ass to him. My dad lived in Missouri City. And they would have set me up down there probably. Some different things. But I wanted to stick with my wife. I didn't want to desert my wife. But I get deserted. I could have been with family that I didn't even grow up with. And I get deserted. And now I can't have no clapback. False. So, yeah. I've caught it on both ends. I got a side of family that hate my guts and didn't even know me. Kid didn't even, Tracy, Brian, Jason, Carrie, they didn't even grow up with me. Carrie the baby. Carrie don't know me from a can of paint. I decided I took him to damn college when he graduated high school, dropped him off, helped him set his dorm up there at the University of Cincinnati. And then he's so goddamn emotional. We both are. He and I both are probably one of the most emotional kids on my dad's side of the family. And then me and my sister will probably be the most emotional people on my mom's side of her kids. So, I've caught it from both ends. And my dad wouldn't even come to my house as long as I was married to this woman. And he didn't dislike her. But my dad would come in the house and my wife wouldn't even speak. Those are facts. My dad would come to my home. My dad just quit coming. Another thing, he didn't like cats. My dad wouldn't come around. My wife was there. He'd speak to her. My wife would give him a half of a hug. But then my sister would go out and spread the rumor I'm on dope. And my sister the same one that busted up my dad's marriage. You know what I'm talking about? Women, just toxic, messy. These are examples we have before us. Black and browns. You got motherfuckers crying in the background talking about why do our men go out and deal with other race, and why do the women go out and deal with what you think? It's gonna come a time now ain't nobody gonna have nobody. I'm telling you what it is. Don't nobody want no woman that don't want to listen, can't learn shit, but know every goddamn thing. Illegal. Nobody want no woman like that. Not in 2026. Who want that? What man want to go out and work, lose? Let me tell you something. If I want to be transparent, you know how much money I've lost or could have obtained in the last 9 years? $4.8 million. See, y'all motherfuckers be getting mad. I know motherfuckers get killed over $5. I'm raising hell because I've lost one lawsuit that could have brought me 2.5. One easily. 2023. This malpractice, once it's over with, easily 2-3 million. The motherfucker rather shortcut and derail you instead of building together. Who's dumb enough to ruin millions of dollars because your husband's been mistreated and his civil rights have been violated? And y'all motherfuckers sit back like, I ain't supposed to be mad. I'm talking about millions of dollars. We're not talking about no goddamn chunk change, no social security check. We ain't talking about no goddamn PPP. We talking about legitimate litigations that family members and my spouse blocked. That's the problem. So now you understand where my energy comes from. See what I mean? When I was out negotiating that building down there in Dayton, fully furnished, about to get a donation for $50,000. You think I had motherfuckers helping me push that? No, I was a threat to them. I had some shit jumping great work off in Cincinnati. Motherfuckers get jealous and start acting weird, shut me down. You know what I mean? But I ain't supposed to be mad. We talking about millions here. Hear me? Mm-hmm. So Governor DeWine and Shayla Favors, that's why I talk so much shit about y'all motherfuckers, because I'm talking about some millions here. I went through medical malpractice. I got family members that tamper with my medical records. I got an aunt that's dead that was having her child purposely overdose me with carbamazepine. St. Anne's medical records will show that I went in 3 different times, OD'd on seizure meds. I couldn't walk or defend myself. So how the fuck am I drug at? How didn't Daryl or Trina or Geraldine or Michael or Sherry do nothing to me? How are you laid on your back and you can't move and you going in, you can't take your own medicine? How are you ODing on seizure meds? Yeah, okay. Every time you wake up, somebody putting a pill in your mouth. When you're on extended release anticonvulsant medicine, you don't take medicine every hour. You usually take it twice a day because the medicine releases itself every 2 to 3 hours. That's why I'm on driving medical restriction, because at nighttime, my vision gets affected and I can't drive at night without a licensed driver. Been on medical restriction for 13 years, driving, epilepsy, and visually impaired. But a motherfucker rather stress me the fuck out, have me seizing and going to the hospital rather than get me some goddamn help. I'm done with this. I'm really done with it. I'm so goddamn angry, I swear to God. You cost me so much goddamn shit. You church people cost me so much shit. And I want your neck. So don't come for you, juggler. I'm going to end you. Socially, emotionally, spiritually, and your freedom is gone. Each one of you motherfuckers, especially the 7, that divine 7. God's perfect number. I'm on your ass. One of them's the devil, the rest of them is spiritual agents. 2 of them is devils, 5 of them are agents of the church. We're going to deal with you accordingly. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And you weird ass bitches that keep inboxing me, quit doing that. You know, don't be inboxing me no weird shit, because I don't find you attractive. I don't find you sexy. I find you really repulsive. You know, I got enough of your Hall of Shames on my wall. I don't need no more of your content. Keep your goddamn content. Because half of y'all dope fiends too, behind the veil. I know how the game works. I was a swinger, full-fledged swinger. Swinger party, swinging clubs, multiple people in bed, been through all that bullshit. All y'all motherfuckers is weird. And you got to keep yourself high to keep yourself on that kind of level. Can't do that shit with a sober brain. Can't do it. I know what I'm talking about. You got to be drunk or under the influence. So, you know, the flex ain't betrayal. The flex is humility, perseverance, pressure. You know, Trina, just want to remind you real quick. Remember you told me you the pressure. I'm the real pressure, baby. I'm sure you feeling it right about now. And Christine, I hope you feel it too, because it was your child to put that goddamn dope on my motherfucking table. So you better hope I don't have a change of motherfucking heart and disrupt your goddamn household. That's what the fuck you better hope. So Trina, carry that goddamn message. If you like to carry a message to the prior clan, carry that goddamn message. I still got that goddamn videotape where y'all try to put that dope on my table and talk about you can get this for nothing, man. This is on me, OG. Now I went from family, cousin to OG, and you trying to give me some goddamn poison. And I cussed him the fuck out and explained to him, I don't do dope. So whoever sent you here to do that, they still think I know my wife coming to the door. Like timely, just like that. Go out of my short, you'll see the video where I showed you. I had cameras. I took all the cameras shit down. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn camera. But you know, when I had motherfuckers out, I knew my wife was doing a little weird shit. I had cameras in the house, cameras on the outside, and you know, and I got that captured on goddamn videotape. And I talked about it on my live that my cousins Trina and her other cousin Christina sent that motherfucker to my house because Christina was on the goddamn phone. Yeah, wouldn't even talk to me. Wouldn't even get on the phone and talk to this day, and I buried your daddy. But you reward your dope fiend brother, the deacon. So I'm talking about all that weird behind the veil shit. Y'all talk about me being a dope fiend. Leon Pryor was a real dope fiend, and y'all put that motherfucker in heaven. Y'all put that motherfucker in heaven just this year. And I told you he was going to die. And his wife died not even 30 days after him. She might have died first. I don't know which one of them died, but they died in 30 days of each other, fucking with me. So I'm telling you, and I did that for revenge from my uncle, even though he did his mama wrong, but they stole from my uncle. They stole from their own daddy. They robbed his legacy. And they want somebody to give him some goddamn grace. You don't deserve no goddamn grace. But I have been shit that's DNA connected to me. If you do right. If you don't, you can go in the goddamn bag with the rest of the adversaries. I don't give a fuck about you either. Namely, the bitch that gave birth to me. Fuck that bitch. And like I told you, you're going to live to see it happen. And I mean that. I mean that. And I'm going to keep the same goddamn energy on this tone. I ain't going to scream at you. I'm just going to give you these straight goddamn facts on what the fuck is really going on behind the veil. Who is who and what is what. You know what I mean? People say, man, bro, why are you so... Well, you see, what people didn't realize, when I was going through some real bad sickness, I didn't get an erection for a year. Yep, whole year. In my teeth, I started having the problem in my mouth. Everything went sour after that. All the cheerleaders, all what they call the fans, all the motherfucking spectators, they all disappeared and went into the what they call the situation room. And let's see how we can get this motherfucker all the way out of here. Yeah. And what's so crazy, everybody got a loophole. Every crook got a loophole. That's what Shayla Favors thought. See, they got these loopholes in the law. Ohio has so many weird laws with so many loopholes, and then you got to go through so much red tape for justice. They don't mind locking you up, but you got to go through red tape for justice. Thank God for the Supreme Court ruling in 2022, and that's why I wasn't really people talking about that case is no. There's a Supreme Court ruling in 2022 that gives me an additional 4 years based on discovery on malpractice. And that's why I'm going to the federal. Because once I get before that panel in that federal, that bullshit, the dental board covered up, DentaQuest, the governor, the attorney general, the mayor, city council. Yeah, I call city council. Every district, Democrat and Republican, reporting fraud and crime amongst politicians. I called the prosecutor in Madison County, District 15. He's running for something this year. I called my representative, Mark Carey, District 15. He has a social worker call me from D.C. Come on, what can I do to help? You didn't get my email? What part didn't you understand? You didn't get the copies of my documents? You didn't get the voicemail recordings from the supervisor, Julia Dawson, from Edna Better Health, that admitted that she found that the people was purposely overlooking my case and my grievances, 23 unanswered grievances as of November 2025. And they caught the grievance supervisor at Edna Better Health destroying documents, and my wife was sitting right there and knew about it. You think my wife got on Facebook and exposed anything? Fuck no. She went back to her family and told them I was delusional. Dumb bitch. Those are facts. I did 2 press conferences to the governor on this channel. They still there. Yeah. And I know that's why people was trying to stop me. I know that's what made my wife really give up and walk away. When she saw that packet coming from the fucking federal courthouse, Southern District, Eastern Division, the bitch got nervous because she knew she was going to be implicated in some shit that I uncovered. And I showed her what I uncovered, and she still chose to be the devil. So don't be naive to the fact and think that my wife didn't know, and my wife didn't see the documents, and my wife didn't see the paperwork that I turned in against her family to the federal government. Don't be naive to the fact that my wife didn't know. You can't be with somebody 20 years, lay down beside them, every goddamn day, with the exception of the short time you did in prison, and tell me that you didn't know that I would be up crying all through the night because my medication and shit was being denied, and I couldn't even get the pain medicine that I needed to subdue the pain in my goddamn mouth. So while I'm fighting the church, fighting legal litigation, fighting in-laws, fighting ex-wives, fighting all this shit, I got a whole motherfucking wife fighting against me with everyone that's fighting against me all at the same time. And then when I react, people pick up the phone, call the police, and tell him he's crazy, he's delusional, take him to jail. That's everyone's alternative. Kill him or take him to jail or put him in a mental institution. Then when I start producing paperwork, and my medical doctor talking about ain't nothing crazy about this man. This man is not schizophrenic. This man is not paranoid. This man is dealing with some trauma. But they told me, my doctor, Aubrey Schofield, sir, our hands are tied on a technicality with the state law. You're not 60 years old. Had I been 60 years old, my wife would have been in jail. My in-laws would have been in jail. George Carter would have been sued by now. Because every time I went to the hospital, they called George. And he called my wife. They called George. My brother of 40 years, the bishop. It was calling his phone. Reverend Fambro, we rushed him to the emergency room. We rushed the pastor to the hospital. Not one in-law showed up, but they'll show up for some lies and some drama. Now you're about to go to jail, and I'm showing up. What you didn't show up for me for, I'm showing up for you now and exposing your whole goddamn family. So if you didn't want to talk about what y'all did know, I'm going to talk about what I seen, heard, and I do know. And we ain't going to talk about no past shit. We're going to talk about current shit within the last 795 days that y'all be over here doing. So we ain't going to talk about it no more. I'm done with it. I got to get off this goddamn lie because I'm going to get real angry. And I'm going to go to 60 in about 5 seconds. But I don't want to let all my eggs out yet because when I leak this shit to the press on one of you Presidium members, I ain't talking about Drew Sheard either. I'm talking about motherfucker that everybody know is weird as fuck on that Joan board. I'm gonna make a leak to the press like they do. They make little leaks and shit. I'm gonna make a little leak on their goddamn family, and I want to see what kind of disruption we can do. Because I love pencil pushers. I like motherfuckers that, they got so much goddamn authority, but all they do is push pencils. I like them type of motherfuckers, especially in the Grand Old Church of God in Christ. I like them type of motherfuckers. So I'm gonna deal with y'all motherfuckers accordingly. And I told you, Drew Shear, a long time ago, you should have got the best motherfucker in turn. You should have been focusing on me getting on your ass instead of Moses Tyson. Because Moses is going to win all the way around. And God going to bless him with residual blessings based on what the fuck y'all did. All the hypocrisy and shit. So, I just want to leave you with that. That turns some heat on and got a little chilly here. Everything. Be fearless. Whatever you do, don't fuck with the dreamer. Joseph is a prime example on what you shouldn't do to a motherfucker that's been betrayed and turned over to the enemy. Them the motherfuckers you don't fuck with. Because then you give them the upper hand, and if they really not prayed up that day, that might be the day of your demise. I remember I told you, Joseph, he could have killed all his brothers. He recognized them, but he wanted to see his dad. Kept Benjamin and said, I'm going to keep him here. Well, bring the old man up. They stupid. They didn't remember. They never forgot what he looked like. He been gone so goddamn long. He done went from Joseph, Zephaniah, He done went all name changes, Potiphar's wife, running, giving the dreams down, you know what I mean? And then the motherfuckers that don't fuck with the dreamer. Don't fuck with the dreamer. I think that story's in Genesis 38. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe 39. I don't know. It's a powerful story. Joseph. Somebody told me those colors represented something. Some theologians argue that the 12 colors in that coat represent 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob, whatever how you want to paraphrase it. Some say that each color represented some predated back to the rainbow, and some, every theologian has their own way of dissecting theology. However, it's just weird how these stories pop in my mind and it be relating to me. I'll be, I'll be there sometime. But I'm gonna hold it down for y'all still. I'm human. I'm gonna hold it down though. I'm gonna hold this down because the wheels ain't gonna fall off. But until I gain my wings, I'm gonna hold it down, and I'm gonna keep fighting for justice and truth. And I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. And it's gonna come out weird. It's gonna come out crazy. It's gonna come out harsh. I'm mindful that people have sensitive ears, but as I tell people all the time, just bear with me. It's a journey, and if you uh, chose to follow along with me on this journey, I'm grateful. If you don't, that's on you. That doesn't negate the fact that I've dealt with some irreversible attacks, and I didn't deserve it. But you deserve what you got coming from me. Put your time in. Keep on clocking in, because I got a paycheck for you. Ain't your paycheck you looking for, but I got a paycheck for each and every one of you. Yeah, sure enough, do. I got something for you, and I can show you, Brandon. I can tell you. Uncle Hobby used to say that. He said, "God damn, I can show you a motherfucking ass, Brandon. I can tell you." And that's just what I'm gonna goddamn do. I'm gonna show y'all motherfucking ass one by one. Yeah. And some of you gonna suffer because of the sins of your parents. That's how deep this is. Some of you that I'm coming for is gonna suffer because of the evil deeds of your parents, white and black folk. I'm telling you what it is. You're a young man in this world, my age, maybe a little younger, you offended me, or your daddy offended me, and you the offspring of that man. I'm coming for your motherfucking ass. You know, just because Achan felt in his mind that he was apologetic, it didn't negate the fact that his whole family got killed. And you can take that spiritually or physically. That make no goddamn difference. If you've offended me and your parents have gone on and you are here remaining, I'm coming for your motherfucking ass based on what your daddy or your mammy did, especially if you DNA connected to me. There's no rest for the weary. And y'all motherfuckers is awful goddamn weary now. You had enough time of fun. Now it's time for some goddamn pain. Yep, now it's time for some pain. So I take this scripture literally. Be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. Ricky Diller came out with a song, If You Faint Not. Mm-hmm. And I ain't fainting. And I ain't running. I ain't running. I'm running for my life, but it ain't in fear. I'm in the pursuit of justice. I'm in the pursuit of justice. I'm in the pursuit of justice. But I just got to be free, 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 free. Denise Williams. I was thinking about her and Stacey Lattisaw. I'm glad she didn't pursue Johnny Gill. She'd be fucked up today if she'd have married that motherfucker because he weird too. Little down low motherfucker. I like his music, but you got to give for Johnny Gill. He off the chain. I don't know what made me think about Johnny this morning. I met him a couple times. Johnny Gill's a motherfucker. That's the same one that had yeah, goddamn Johnny Gill. That's the same one that had, was that Tevin Campbell? Was that Tevin Campbell? He had sucking his dick in the back of the limo. Yeah, that was Johnny Gill zipping his pants up, and that boy sucking. Yeah, they did him wrong. They did Tevin Campbell wrong. All he wanted to do was talk, and they wanted to fuck. That's crazy. Sadistic, weird shit. But when he got done talking, he said goodbye. That's what he said. That's what Tevin Campbell said. Goodbye, baby. Goodbye. Hey, lady, can I ask you why you're treating me like a stepchild? Your future not so bright. Yeah, I'm gonna play that. Goodbye. Goodbye. What that song? What that song? Hit the road, Jack. I just be going on and on and on. What name that damn song? Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back, Ray Charles. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. You hit the fucking road. Mason Street, pack your bags. You know that business. Take down your sign. What's this? May? The convocation's coming up. No, it's Women's Day. This Women's Convention season. Let me go on the internet today and see if I can check out some of these women's conventions going on across this country. Shout out to House of God. That's what I wanted to say and end it. I want to end on a good note. Just touched me today. Uh, I know them House of God folks they borderline apostolic. At least they believe in the oneness. I do know that. Most of them do. I don't know about Keep Dominion, but I know the House of God, them folks are apostolic for sure. But they got a theme song in the House of God. And I don't know how the House of God sect work, but they got a song called Church of the Living God. And I make it my business. As a matter of fact, I just pulled up an old video and I resaved it on my page of them singing a song on I was always fascinated with them doolies and shit them Saturday folks be wearing. Them girls maybe, but them girls be looking good in that white. T Keys. God forgive me. I think she House of God too, but she's from Cleveland. That's the girl I was talking about. I used to play them praise break songs all the time. We used to talk a lot. And she ended up getting married. I watched her wedding. She's a real nice young lady, a little small, frail, yellow girl. That girl can play the hell of an organ though. She had a little dooley on her head, be dancing and shit. She what was that praise break she came up with about 8 years ago? She do a lot of music, producing music. T Keys, I think that's her name. Tiana Keys or T Keys. What was that song? Getting ready to happen. No, that ain't it. I seen him do it. There it is. Yeah, and she did a what they call it, loops. The musicians call it loops. And she did that, man. She took off too. She doing real good. I heard she doing real good. I think she up here in Cleveland somewhere. I think she up here. Yeah, I think she's from Cleveland. T Keys, I think her name is. And what made me think about that? Someone did a shout out. The guy from Laugh for Days. I was watching that last night. I watch him when I go to sleep at night to laugh myself to sleep. And he gave a shout out to her on something that she did on church videos. I don't know how he got that video, Church of God in Jackson, Michigan, but that was funny as hell. I sent it to my friend Janie, my childhood pastor's daughter, his only daughter, Carol Jane, and she responded last night. But I just woke up seeing that thing. That thing went viral. It put my mind like, man, I know Johnny. I mean, they're cussing on the floor. He said, but as a matter of fact, the guy that was testifying was named Johnny. And Johnny told him, said, Johnny, that's enough, brother. That's enough. They got that microphone quick. But that would never happen when he was growing up. Matter of fact, you didn't get no mic. You couldn't even stand in the pulpit as she was singing. And we had a different pulpit for people that sang on the other side. Or if somebody was doing Sunday school lesson or something like that, we had two pulpits. One pulpit was on this side of the church, and the pulpit for the pastor and the elders, and the women, they would be on this side, by the sound room. Yeah. I was thinking about Margie today. I did wake up thinking about Margie, Celine, Joan McIntyre. I really liked them women. That's some nice women, man. Margie never got married. Margie was cute too. don't know how old she was, but Margie was a pretty, them sanctified, them white Pentecostal women, they be keeping their hair be down to their ass like Rapunzel, all the way down the damn floor. And you never know it because they got that big ass ball on the top, with that pin in the top, holding it up. Margie, I saw her hair down one time. I said to myself, damn, she got some pretty hair. Margie has some wide hips too. She did. I ain't gonna lie to you. I used to always look at them preachers, man. Them women. And we had some fine ass women in my church growing up. Church of God, sure did. We had no ugly women. If they was ugly, they didn't get married. I don't think they did. I can't even think of no ugly woman in Grand Avenue. You know, all of them was pretty, but they never got married. Leah Wilkerson, Leah pretty, Leah's real pretty, heavy chest girl. I thought she was cute. Janie always been a doll baby to me, just like her daddy. Janie, Gloria, the one who used to date Mike Kimberly, Gloria Carter. She used to direct the choir, young people's choir. Gloria, she was crazy as hell. That girl was crazy. She directed that damn choir though. Who else in there was real cute, man? I was crazy about Gay. I thought Gay was the bomb. Gay Hamilton. I always had a crush on Gay. Oh, yellow ass on Gay. Gay, and she had them two daughters. And that's the first person I thought that inboxed me. I thought it was one of Gay's kids. Because the way the question was given to me, I didn't know too many people that stayed. But I was gone after the 80s, so I don't know who was staying at that house, Phyllis them house then. But Gay was beautiful. She was a little wounded person, but Gay was beautiful. That I dated a girl once. She was from I met her at a Christmas meeting. She was Filipino. Her name was Jennifer Trump Tower. I was in love with that girl too. And I never forget Donnie Gaskin. What that other little motherfucker name from Jackson? He was trying to get me to sleep with that girl that day. Last night at the Christmas meeting, because a lot of them to take them girls down there in that basement over in the parsonage where they be doing dishes and shit, and they be fucking them. Some of the young girls was getting fucked down there. I'm telling you what I know. They were trying to get me to sleep with that girl, but I wasn't thinking about sex back then. I was just, really crazy about that girl. You know. I do want to bring up something though about somebody at Grand Avenue. It didn't hit me till just now. It didn't hit me till just now. There's a girl I dated when I was a kid, and I really was crazy about that girl. Her name was Cindy King. Anybody in Grand Avenue remember that? I was so crazy about that goddamn Cindy King. She was chocolate. And that girl was chocolate, man. I ain't gonna say she was dark as this towel, but she was chocolate, and that girl was beautiful. She was so beautiful. I still got a picture of her to this day. When she was in high school, she had a powder blue suit on. She always kept her hair together. But her mother was a devil, Diane King. And what's so crazy is a lot of the people at that church were instrumental in hooking us up. I was a little older than Cindy. Uh, they labeled me a renegade, a gangster, all this weird shit. I was wild. I was gonna kill her brother one day. That's a fact. That's a true story right there at Grand Avenue. I had that whole church around that was gonna kill him. If it wasn't for his grandma, Mercy King, he'd be dead today. Dwayne. But make a long story short, that same woman, Diane King, that wrote letters on me to Carl Kennedy. It didn't work. But I'm going to shed some light on that, because I had somebody send me an inbox. I'm not going to say this person's name from Grand Avenue. And they brought up that Juanita Robinson had a birthday. I didn't respond. We always called her Aunt Needy. And she bought my first record player in 1976, her and Uncle Robert. I'll never forget that. Joan Cabin was a Sunday school teacher back then, down in the lower level in the main building. And Diane, I went to Job Corps. I never slept with Cindy when we were kids. We never did nothing like that. We always just wrote love letters. I would sing to her, and she was all had a beautiful voice. She sang to me. I was in Indiana in Job Corps. I would call on Sundays, and she would always be with my mom. And if she wasn't with my mom, she was with Sharon and Ruthie and Dee Dee. But she would be up under my mom, and my mom would uh, give her the phone, and we would talk. And they lived on Newburgh Drive out there in Brittany. What is it? Is that considered Brittany Hills, Newburgh? The Delavan cut around the corner, then you ran into Newburgh down there. I think that's considered Brittany Hills. Yeah, I think that's considered probably the beginning of Brittany Hill. To make a long story short, I never disrespected Diane. Her husband used to cut my hair when I was in secondary school, elementary. And then some days my mom wouldn't let him cut my hair. She'd tell him the haircut was whirly. And everybody know that at Grand Avenue wasn't nothing whirly because it was, very strict. So I don't know how a taper was whirly, but my mom would get mad and make him shave all my hair off just to be spiteful. But make a long story short, I wrote a letter to Cindy because she had called me. No, she wrote me a letter. And in Job Corps, we would go. Uh, I was at Atterbury and down in Edinburgh. And I wrote a letter to Cindy one time because somebody had been saying some inappropriate stuff to her, and I found out about it. And I told her when I got back into Ohio, I was going to come and kill that person or something like that. It was something crazy I said. I was about 19, 17, 18 years old. Uh, but for whatever reason, Cindy went to Northland Vikings, I think that's where she went. After they left Newburgh, they went to, they moved up there off of either Morris Road. They didn't live too far from the Burks, Roger and Dorothy. Dorothy and them lived on Yellow Pine. I think Dorothy still live on Yellow Pine, right there off Tamarack. And the Kings lived up there off of up there near Northland High School, Northland Vikings. They moved up there. I think Brian was working for the post office. Diane King gets the letter, turns it into Brother Kernley. Makes this big to do about it. Juanita Robinson, which is Carl Kernley's sister-in-law. I tell you, my memory's like an ox, and stuff pop in my mind. I talk about it. Juanita Robinson went out and spread through the church that I was a gangster. Aunt Needy, yeah. Shirley Speaks and Sister Pat's sister, Needy. And I'll never forget when I came back on Christmas break. It was Christmas meeting time. I popped in. I had a trench fur blue jean jacket, blue jean coat, and I had a blue, I had a blue, I had a blue fitted cap on with a G on the front, white G on the front. I was out there in Indiana, man, running with a lot of people down there, man. Doing all I was doing it. I get back, everybody chattering and talking. Diane King, I happened to be standing in the back of the church talking to I might have been talking to Mike Carroll. Me and Mike Carroll used to joke around a lot together. I might have been talking to Mike Carroll or Keith Beard, one of the two I was talking to. I came in town. Matter of fact, when I walked in the door, I just got to do smoking the joint. And Keith Beard, it was Keith Beard, because Keith Beard smelled it. I said, "What you doing smoking reefer, man?" I said, "Keith, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it." That was my boy too, Keith, from my heart. Uh, but I never understood. You the same woman. Your marriage is busted up. Walking around with wigs and shit, bright ass lipstick, looking crazy. But see, the people like Diane King, Catherine Frazier, uh, Wanda McKeithen, where her last name used to be Wanda. What was Wanda's last name? Was it Hope? wanted to come out of Clay Street, or Church of God Sanctified, one of the two. To make a long story short, it's people like them and people that you know uh, do weird shit in that church over there. All them people, they get overlooked like they don't do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I just always thought that was odd. And then all the same people that was cackling over there at Grand Avenue, either your kids that went to prison. Remember, I'm the gangster. I ain't never been. Most of your kids that went to prison. Some of your husbands, especially out there in Jackson, was drug dealers and shit, dead. And y'all all overlooked and danced over all that shit. And look where y'all at today. You ain't even got an official pastor over there at 790 Grand Avenue that I know of. Bruce Kelly just playing the part. They're not gonna put him in there. They didn't accept Bruce Kelly from the word go, because Bruce Kelly come out of Church of God Sanctified. Matter of fact, I got in trouble once. I'm gonna let you go on this. I'm talking. I was always reading Bibles and reading. I was a real avid reader, and always been an avid reader. Love to read. Bruce Kelly had a Bible sitting in the pews back in about 1986. Yeah, it might have been 86, because that was around about the time Robert Corlin was going through their shit with Connie. They had to get him from the church and apologize and everything. I know the Corlin was gone, but that's Bruce Kelly's brother-in-law. But make a long story short, I found out, and I was about 11. No, I was about 13, maybe. I found out that Bruce Kelly was a preacher. And I was the one that went and asked the question to somebody. I said, what is an elder? Because we didn't use those terminologies in Church of God. We used brother and sister. I didn't know nothing about all that elder, bishop, overseer, none of that shit. We didn't do none of that man-made shit. You knew who the pastor was. You knew who the ministers were by where they sat in the church. All the men lined up against the wall, and the women sat on the front row, right next to the men, if you was a minister in that church or elder. And there was a number three ordained men. Bruce Kelly was technically ordained. I think he got ordained in 79. Church got sanctified. If I remember that writing correctly in that Bible. And someone snatched the Bible out of my hand and closed it. Fast forward, Bruce Kelly over there right now, and a lot of people don't even respect him. You know what I mean? Who would ever thought that church would be split up the way it is? All the cooks are gone. Ain't nobody gonna do it like Stella Cabin. Oh no. Ain't nobody cooking no food in Grand Avenue like Stella Cabin used to cook. I'm talking about from the chicken and turkey casseroles, homemade. Because we serve dinner every Sunday down in the parsonage. Now they serve it in the fellowship hall. But they used to serve it in the parsonage. If you was out of town, you ate free. If you was local, you paid like $3. And Nancy Payne was the bookkeeper. She'd walk around there and she'd get that money on Sunday night. She'd let you slide. Get up out of it. You be in line, you ain't got your purse, that's fine. But by the time 7 o'clock evening service come, before you walk out that door, benediction, you better have that goddamn money. They call your name out right there in the church. Nancy Payne would. She sure the fuck would. She was weird too, though. I never really liked Nancy. But I was crazy about her husband David and David Payne's dad, Clarence. I was real crazy about Clarence Payne over on I think it was on Rappinsburger. Clarence and Grace. They didn't like Grace because Grace was still caught up in that one cleansing. Grace Payne, Dave Payne's mom, she was caught up in that oneness, that one cleansing. They all that doctrine came through in 80s, early 80s, mid 80s. That one cleansing came through. You get saved, get all that once, or some people didn't believe in the sanctity. It was just weird. It really swept through Church of God and busted up a whole bunch of shit. Mount Tabor and was that Bogart? Bogart was over there, big old fat white man. He was a racist too. But Kelly played him so smooth. I learned a lot from Carl Kelly. Carl Kelly was a smooth man. That man, And I don't know a pastor to this day could ever step in his shoes. I tell his daughter that all the time. I got so much respect for Carl Vernon Kierley Sr. So much respect. He handled himself. He handled himself with class, poise. Now I didn't agree that they covered up for my stepdad's DUI shit that he was going through back in the day. Or when they got caught, I caught him and my mom fucking in John Reservoir when he was engaged, and I went and told it. And then Adele Butler got mad and told him I couldn't be in the wedding, which I thought was crazy. That's all that sacrifice shit. Norman's kids was in the wedding. Ryan was in the wedding. And I'm that kind of shit I be talking about. I've been an outcast all my goddamn life. You know what I mean? Ron Calvin, they didn't have no ring bearer. Ron Calvin was the Bible bearer. Tamika was the flower girl. Norma was the matron of honor, where the fuck that bitch was, and she didn't even like my mom. Matter of fact, she ended up marrying the man my mom really liked. She didn't like Greg. She liked Larry. Larry claimed he didn't want nobody that had an already made family. He married Norma Burke. Then he turned around after he married Norma and she died. He married Doris Gaskin. Doris Gaskin got 2 kids. Norma had 3. Now, Lord, Larry Burke ought to be about 100 years old right about now. He ought to be. Then you got the Black Widow, Robin Greer. You know, they say she killed both her husbands. I don't know. I know that. Bobby liked them white girls. Do you know that? He did like them white girls because he was fucking one of them girls from Grand Avenue. I heard. I don't know. I ain't gonna say who it was, but that's what I heard. He lost control of that car and caught on fire. But yeah, I mean, I was always the one that speak up, tell shit when it wasn't right, speak out on it. I wasn't turning my head. Ever since I was a child, I've never been that type of person. If there's some shit going on, especially if it's affecting me, I'm talking about it, and I will always get beat for it. I can tell you scars on my body from getting beat. Yeah, like beat, abused. You know, boards, cords. Uh, I remember there was a time I used to get beat every morning just to wake up. I had a whooping, and then the sadistic motherfucking stepdad of mine would say, "Yeah, you got about 3 more days of beatings coming. We're gonna get that taken care of." And I would get held back from school because my ass would be busted wide open. My back would be gashed up, or I got whelps on my arms. So I went to school one day, told my teacher, got in front of the whole classroom. This is when my mom got married. I was getting beat then. My Uncle Hoppy spared me. That's why I loved him so much. He kept me from a lot. I'd probably be dead right about now if it wasn't for him. But I remember I stood up in front of my class, my second grade class at Linden Elementary. Mr. Carrington was my school teacher, and Miss Simmons was my first grade teacher. That's back in about 1970 and something, 77, 78. And back then we had corporal punishment in the school. They called my mom. Mom come to the school. They pulled me out the class, fucked me up, and then back, same old shit. I get to Franklin. I was in middle school. I never forget. They used to let my stepdad come in the classroom and fuck on me right there in class with the school paddle. And then I get home and get another beating. Ass already swollen, lumps all on my ass. You know. I remember one time Greg helped me. We was on Indiana. They just got married. Adele heard some noise next door. They used to always listen to that. They was blind, so they would always listen to the scriptures and stuff on video. Back to the Bible would be on Moody, the Moody Bible Institute. They give them big old boxes full of Braille Bibles and Braille 8-track tapes and shit like that, cassette tapes. And Paul Butler had a 4-track player in his living room. We sitting there by his table, and he'd be playing them, and you can hear it through the wall. And they turned up real loud. One time Greg held my arms, and my mom was just punching me in my motherfucking face. Punching my face. My mom used to do some sadistic shit. You know. That's what I tell people all the time. She gonna live to see what's gonna transpire in her life. She gonna die a horrible death. Phyllis Lane gonna die a horrible death along with Trina and Daryl. I told you yesterday, Daryl gonna be dead in 4 years. That's the reason I spared him all that paperwork. Daryl Lamont Hopkins, June 3rd, 1970, will be dead in 4 years. Mark this date down. May 16th, 2026. That I said it. He gonna be dead. Anyone I've told you was gonna die, they've already dropped dead and been in the ground more than 67 days. Hear my voice, you better make the choice and pay attention. Yeah. It's a dangerous thing to fuck with a wounded man. Dangerous goddamn thing. It's a dangerous thing. But when you wounded and your wounds is healed, and you coming back. Yeah. That's why I named my channel DL Fambro, the JDWick Movement. John Wick. D stands for Devereaux. I did that. A young lady a lot of my life. I really cared about that girl. Before I married my wife, I should have got with that girl. I let that girl out of my hands. She moved on with her life, moved down south and had a child. She named her child Devereaux. And I never forgot about her. Her family was kind to me. It was from Arkansas. Her family was very kind to me. She was just real assertive. She was real assertive, but she was a sweetheart. Very professional. Managed a 500, what they call it, 500 forward business, whatever they call that shit. Real smart girl. Had goals. Mom was definitely a sweetheart. Country lady. They used to come down and visit me. She used to come down and visit me. Her mom. I went down there one time to Arkansas for about 4 days, man. I really enjoyed it down there. I went down and toured the University of Razorbacks down there. I still got some pictures of me sitting on the back of that goddamn what they call it, a war hog. Sitting on the back of that war hog. And we sit there and we laugh and they can drink some beer too. Drink some beer and everybody was just cool, man. You know, it was just real cool. And I never really stayed in Arkansas for a long period of time, but that was one of the best vacations I ever had in my life. And then she got sick or something. I think she got sick or something. I took her some tulips. Tulips was one of my favorite flowers. I took her some tulips, and I never went back after that. I just quit going over there. She came back to talk to me. She used to drive a convertible, Mustang convertible. I'll never forget it. And we'd be riding down the street, and she'd be bobbing her head to that damn was it what that motherfucker song? She used to like uh she'd be bouncing her motherfucking hair. Cute, probably blonde. She was a blonde, chubby chick. Bless her heart. And she had a son named Devereaux. Every now and then I go look at her page as a cute little boy. And but yeah, they fucked with John. They fucked with John Wick. John Wick came back with a vengeance. Except he was killing folk though. I ain't trying to do that. I'm gonna kill some legacies and some reputations and some motherfucking freedom. I'm gonna be doing that. And oh, that's where that name came from. For those who didn't know, that's where the name of my channel came from. Yeah. The revolutionists have always done some revolutionary things. Have always, been a person to disrupt shit. And somebody told me one day, said, "Man, you could be revolutionizing shit." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna start going by the traveling revolutionists. I'm a traveler. I'm a Sonic Core. I'm not active, but I'm a traveler, and I'm a revolutionist in my own right. The traveling revolutionist. Yep, that's where it came from. This channel used to be Lively Stone COGIC 220. That's what it used to be. And then when I quit going to church, I changed the name of the channel and started it from scratch. Started it back over from scratch. Started out with 6 subscribers. 6 subscribers 4 years ago. The channel is actually 10 years old. But yeah, we started out with 6 subscribers 4 years ago. And all I was really doing was shorts. And I said, we start talking about my journey, man. A lot of people was asking questions and didn't have clarity. They was hearing this here, this there, and this there. And, by the time they get back to you, you done heard like 8 different translations of what happened, how it happened, and who was involved. And I said, well, I'd rather just start out by doing my first works, start my first works at home, working on me. And then when I get me together, I move forward. And it's been a pleasurable experience dealing with subscribers and different things like that. But I've been in a while. I just wanted to talk to you today. I really did. Sometimes I pour out and just, my Aunt Jerry used to tell me I wear my feelings on my sleeve, and I've been trying to quit wearing them on my sleeve and just express them. Because some men really just never learn how to express their emotions. And it come out kind of awkward sometimes, and people take it the wrong way. But, you know, I come from a fucked up family too. Uh, I just chose to do it and go a different direction than what my family went. I don't like the idea of just going out hurting folks just to be hurting them. But this family's always been that way. My family, the prior family, they always out killing each other, sacrificing each other. It's not a secret. Those are facts. The women in the family, they sacrificed the men in the prior family. Those are facts. The women are vindictive, uh, evil. We're talking about the aunts, the daughters of Susie Pryor. Those women were evil, except Mary Lou. Mary Lou was real, she was wounded. But Phyllis and Geraldine, they're evil. Anybody that sacrificed their mama is evil. I tell you all the time, my mother. I ain't gonna see no harm come to her. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. I don't give a fuck what nobody else do to her, but I'm not gonna personally do no harm to her. That's my mother still. She gave birth to me. She didn't give a fuck about me, and I really don't give a fuck about her. But she's still my mother. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna kill my mother. I'm not gonna deprive my mother of her health. You know, when she got other kids, they can take care of her. That's their job. I relinquish myself from all that bullshit. I don't give a fuck about them. They can all die if they want to. I really don't give a fuck. That's how much, you know, resentment I have toward that woman. You know, my view of women have been, my view of women has been tainted because of my mother. That's not being the victim. Those are facts, and that's how it usually happens in the black household. Because the men only hear the side, like Charleston White said, like Nino Brown said. In the black household, single household, the boy only hear the side of the story that the mama tell. I didn't meet my biological father until 1994. I had been told all kind of shit about my dad, but I had to believe that based on what my mom said. And then when I started getting documents from courts and find out that the adoption itself was illegal, the judge that handled the adoption was entwined with my stepdad's brother, who he had just sent to prison for pedophilia. He just saved my father from losing his job working for the county. They was all linked in together, and they did all that shit. And to this day, I've not been given a straight answer from my father or my mother or George. But I call Greg George. People be talking about every time I say George, people think I'm talking about George Carter. I call my stepdad George. I always nickname him that. But I don't understand how I just think it's sad. But it's 10:51, and Trina, I hope you watching today. I hope I hope you watching. I really hope you are. I hope you learn a valuable lesson. Yep, all you Elaines, y'all gonna feel some pain. trust and believe, you shall receive your payday. It is fastly approaching. Fastly approaching. And I'm jubilant about it. I'm jubilant about it. Well, I told y'all motherfuckers I should have went to the doctor and got checked up. You two priors that I told you was going to drop dead. I told y'all you should went to the doctor and maybe you could do some preventive maintenance and could have got ahead of your illness. But you better go find out what that illness is so you can at least manage it. But you're gonna die. You're gonna surely die from it. You don't fuck with a chosen man. Like they killed John. They fuck with John Wick's dog. Yeah, you fuck with my name. And I just happen to be a fan of the dog pound. So it is what it is. You done fuck with my dog. Now, I'm gonna fuck with you. Shout out to Marvin Winans. Shout out to Marvin Winans. I want to dedicate this song to all my haters. I'm gonna remix your song, Marvin. I know you like to talk shit too, but don't come here trying to sue me. Don't try to come sue me for what I'm about to say. But I want revenge on you in a very real way. The song, I want to know you in a very real way. I want to know you in a very real way. It's Marvin Winans, this group. I want to see y'all dead in a very real way. You backdoor motherfuckers. I want to see you family members suffer in a very real way. Yeah. And then when you really get in trouble, I want you to think about the barge. You know what I mean? But I don't want you to call my name. I just want you to feel the shame that you about to feel. You know what I mean? You say, I do, you do better than we do too. Yeah, I love you and you love me. And I know, don't call my name. Don't call my name. Every Sunshine came out of the song too. Talking about call my name. When was the last time you called my name? I love Every Sunshine too. That girl's bad. I think she come from somebody's church. She probably come out of Baptist church though. The way she played that piano. Come out of Baptist church. Every Sunshine, that's a bad girl. It's cold in here. What the fuck is really going on? Put my hat on. It's cold. I know I ain't matching right now. I gotta put this hat on because I don't know where my orange hat is. I put me a hat on. My ears are cold bad. Turn this heat on real quick. I want to know you in a very real way. I want to know you in a very real way. I want to know you in a very real way. Turn that heat on, man. It's cold. Shit. I'll put a hoodie on when I get off this live. I just gotta. Sometimes my anxiety go up and down. Sometimes I be ready to go ham and then I get calm again. I don't know what that's about. I'm just sitting here covered up, chilling, and everything like that. I just want to keep talking to you until I get tired. Way I can get through shit, man. You know what I mean? I gotta talk about it. Get it off my chest. See what the fuck I'll be feeling. I hope y'all don't mind today. Saturdays is not normal programming, but I just want to get this stuff off my chest, man. I got a long week ahead of me, and I really don't want no. I really don't want to. The song just came to my mind. The song just came to my mind. I think it's by GQ. Sitting in the park, waiting for you. Ay. I tell my old school cat. I love them old school. I love them oldie but goodies, baby. I really do. I told you when my second wife used to tell me all the time, why you listening to depressing music? Oh, that rapper, it wasn't Lil Mo. It just came to my memory. I told you when I be running my mouth, sometimes I be talking and stuff comes to my memory. That rapper that I was telling you about was not Little Mo. It was Little Kim. Little Kim. That's what it was. When I said my second wife, that's what kicked in my head. Little Kim. Because Little Kim, we was talking about Millie Jackson the other day. And I said a lot of these female rapping pioneers got that vulgarity from goddamn Millie Jackson. Millie Jackson was sitting I told you I was sneaking over. I think it was my aunt's house, matter of fact. It might have been in Michael's room because Michael always had this big ass component set. That motherfucker was big as fuck too. I mean, it was nice too. Mike always did have. I mean, Mike had music. You think Mike was a DJ? I swear for God, Mike was the only big brother I ever had. Really, Michael Hawkins, Michael Dwayne, and Michael had he made every record that came out. Michael had it. Michael was the one that really got me hooked on Earth, Wind, and Fire and ensemble groups. Mike was real big in Earth, Wind, and Fire, Lakeside. Uh, Mike was in the funk too, but Mike was more in the Earth, Wind, and Fire, Cool and the Gang. He listened to a little bit of Chic. He wasn't too much of Chic though, but Mike would listen to shit like that. I never known him to listen to blues. That was in Jerry's department. She liked blues, and she liked that real old music. You be hearing shit and it sound like you ever go you hear people recording and then you ain't got no shit on the walls and then it just be echo, but that component set in the living room. Them had that they had that damn TV component set in the living room. At that time in over there, all the walls were mirrors. Over at 2382 Marcia Drive. It was kids. And every Saturday night, and this is Saturday, I'm glad I'm talking about this. Every Saturday night we'd have dance contests. Mike was the DJ. There was a long it was a long component set. You open the front of it, the TV be right there, and you go on the top, you had the 8-track. Then you go in the middle, you lift that part up, and it had a motherfucking record player. And then you had the 45 and 33 disc. You sit down on top, and you can put like 4 or 5 records up there and put the arm on top. Then after that record get done, the arm will go over and come back. The record will drop. Boop. We be in there dancing. I'd be dancing my ass off. Uh, I always was a dancer, man. I always been an entertainer too. I was always good at it. Singing, dancing, you know, doing skits. I used to always do skits, even in school. If anybody was in Springfield back in the 80s and remember me in middle school, I remember I used to get up. There's this one teacher used to let me get up, and I used to sing like I was doing a concert and be walking around the classroom. And I wrote a song called "You Don't Know My Name." It's funny. It's just funny. I wrote a song called "You Don't Know My Name." I was about 14, I think it was. Yep, I was about 14, and this teacher allowed me to go around. As a matter of fact, I think it was Ernest Brown. If he's still living, he was pastor in St. John because my teacher in middle school, Miss Chapman, her husband, Joe, was the pastor there, Dr. Joseph Chapman, I think his name was, over at St. John Missionary Baptist Church here in Springfield. I think Miss Chapman was from Bahamas or something. I don't know. She talked real funny. But Ernest Brown ended up pastoring that church. Ernest Brown lived on Damascus off John Street. I used to go see. When I got an adult, I used to go by and talk to Ernie. That's what I call him, Ernie. Ernie Brown, little big butterball nigga. Good guy though. I liked Ernie Brown. He always took care of me, looked out for me. But he didn't tell. He never. And one thing about him though, I gonna give it to. He lived a saved life at that school. He was an example at that school. Him and Miss Chapman. That crazy ass guidance counselor over there, Miss Jurgens. She was a trip. Everybody went to Franklin from Springfield. Remember Miss Jurgens? Was it Miss Jurgens or Miss Jenkins? And we be in that goddamn uh, detention. And Miss Jurgens was a trip. That goddamn Franklin Middle School, man. That motherfucking school was off the chain. A lot of people from the neighborhood went to Hayward, but I went to Franklin. I went to Lincoln Elementary School in Springfield, right when we first moved to Springfield from Columbus. So we left Columbus in 1980. We left Columbus in 80. No, we didn't. No, the fuck we didn't. We left Columbus in 81. I was about 10. I know I was about 10 or 11 when we got to Springfield. I know I was about 10 or 11. Because my mom wanted to stay single for about a year or two. Then she got married. Yeah, because she got married at 82. September 82, September 19th to 82, I think it was, they got married down at Grand Avenue. And sometimes I'll be sitting there talking, man, and stuff be flying through my mind. I'll be cracking up. So I have, my emotions be up and down. I'm just gonna be real with you about it. I'm just be real with you about it. I'm real emotional right about now, and I just need to talk. You know, I'd rather do it this way than be raising $175 worth of hell. I really would. I just really want people to understand where I'm coming from. You know, and get an idea on why I be flipping the fuck out on people and why I chose the lane of exposing folk. This is why. I am a witness by experience of betrayal from close people. Not street people, close people. I never forget my friend got murdered. I was out on the street real heavy then. He was a gang banger. I was a banger too, but he was really in the gang. He was a gangster disciple. And his wife got caught up in some shit, doing some shit she had no business. One of his homies. It's kind of a drug deal gone wrong. I never forget. I was walking down the street and I just heard like firecrackers. I didn't catch it at first. It got closer, it got louder, and next thing I know, I see my boys with their arms out the window shooting at me. I'm running down the street. I called my mother. In the middle of it. My mom was a good actor. They said my mom ran outside screaming, "They gonna kill my baby! They gonna kill my baby!" And I was sitting there thinking a little while ago. Each time I come close to death, now that I know the people that have betrayed me, I'll be sitting back wondering, are these people responsible? Putting a hit out on me. My friend got murdered. Not only did they murder him, his name was Kendall. They murdered him, his wife, and his kid. I stayed hiding for a long time. I was scared for my life. I've never been more afraid in my life. And I'm not too easy to scare. That shit scared the fuck out of me because that was some shit that could have been prevented. But he had a weird bitch on his hip. And she was doing some side deals and shit. And it cost my friend his life. And he had a place in Indianapolis and he had a place in Gary. I used to spend a lot of time in Indiana with him. I remember I brought him down one time to meet my mother. We was a little flashy back then, I thought I was goddamn, I don't know what the fuck I thought I was, but I used to wear them, what they call them, gazelles. I used to wear them goddamn gazelles. And I was always into eyewear. Sunglasses, fashion, shit like that. And I never forget one day Gregory was, I think Gregory's about 2. I was in the middle of some shit. I didn't see Gregory crawling across the floor. I was cleaning my gun out. And the gun went off. Right there in my mother's living room in 1960 Harley Avenue. That bullet came about that close to hitting Gregory in his head. I didn't see Gregory crawling across the floor. And that was in 89. No, 90. That's about 90. I stopped by the visit, Phyllis. Matter of fact, I just bought me a new car. I just bought a Honda. I just went and paid cash for a cherry. It's a fire engine red Honda Accord 2-door coupe. No, Honda. I I forget what that car was, but it was an LX. I know that. Either LX or something. It was a coupe, two-door red. I was getting ready to go to Columbus that day. Someone told me not to go. I was already drunk. I think I was high or drunk or something. I smoked a whole bunch of weed that day. And I left. I think I stayed up and hung out with Phyllis and them, man, to about 8 o'clock. I went home and I couldn't sleep. I kicked it with a couple friends for a minute. Hit the freeway. I think I got there. I was flying too, man. I went in Jerry to see my car. I said I paid cash for my first car. She said, Dick, come on and let me see it, but you're going to have to stay the night because it's late. I drove all the way down to Columbus, pulled up in Jerry's house. Uncle Hoppy was in there. I think he was in there fucking with that magic shade. It was so funny. I think he was. Uncle Hoppy was tired, but they waited up for me till I got there. I get there, and Uncle Hoppy told me, he said, man, Dion, I was just talking, laughing. I think me and Uncle Hoppy was watching something. He was doing that magic shade. Then we came in and we was watching something on TV because, it wasn't no, rewind and, all that shit on TV back there. And Jerry and them had a black flat screen. It's when the flat screen first came out, and Jerry had a big one that was gray and black. She had furniture to match it in them room. All the mirrors were gone by then. I think it was just them beads left. And Uncle Hobby said, I'm going to bed, Dee. And Jerry said, I'm going to bed too. You go in, sleep in that back room back there. Get up early in the morning. I don't think you should be leaving. I said, okay. I sit there for a minute. I said, no, I'm gone in, Jerry. I'm driving. Get back. I started getting tired. I ain't think nothing of it, I've driven that trip before. Hundreds of times. Other than that, I like to drive. And I didn't realize I fell asleep. All I remember when I opened my eyes, it said entering Clark County. And it was a 5-speed. I went to change gear. I just not long learned how to drive a stick. Had a guy named James Walls. He had a Ford Escort LX, and he taught me how to drive a stick. And I went and got me a stick. I think I got that car from Bill Swall. I don't know where I got that car from. It was brand new. Driving the car, and when I opened my eyes, the semi truck was coming head on. Boom! Semi truck hit my car. Dragged my car 4 miles down the road. When I woke up, I was in a ditch. Right there on the border of Clark County and leaving Madison County. I tell people stuff come 360. Right about where I live at now, 4 miles up the road is where I got hit by that semi truck. Told you got it, Britt. Yeah. I woke up, I'm in the hospital. I don't know if they took me to community or they took me to Mercy. There's 2 hospitals back in Springfield at the time. I think the hospital I ended up in was the hospital right there off of out there near Ravensburger. I think I was in Mercy Hospital near Burnett Road, I think. I think that's where I was at. I don't remember what hospital it was, but all I knew is I was screaming, I don't want to go to hell. I'll never forget it. When the police took my mom to the impoundment lot to look at the car was crushed up like a sardine can, and all I came out with was a bruised rib. The semi truck didn't know I was alive. They thought I was dead. The car was literally folded up like a tin can. I keep telling you I'm chosen. My mom come to the hospital and said, I don't want to go to hell. She said, I don't want to hear all this noise. She said, you ain't safe anywhere. You going to go to hell anyway. She left the hospital, never came back. Bruce Kelly came and saw me. Brian King came and saw me. And Ron Cabin. Ron Cabin came up to see me. Ronald Morgan Cabin. I think he was the third. No, he was the second. Yeah, he was the second. Ron was the third. Uh, me and Ron, we play chess together every now and then when they lived on Marston over there in Lower Arlington. I remember Ron Cabin lived across from Hamilton Elementary School. I think Bobby stayed there now. I think Bobby staying in the house now, but that's where Ron used to live at, that little small house right there. Back, I used to go there all the time when I was a kid. Yep, sure enough did. Ron Cabin. That was my guy though. I didn't necessarily agree with Ron after he became a pastor, but Ron was a pretty thorough guy to me. I never had no problem with Ron. I thought he was a little different. He was definitely smart. I just didn't think he was pastor material. Uh, a lot of the older people really didn't want him in there because he joked too much, and he did. He did joke a lot, awful lot. But he was the only one ordained under Church of God standards. Bruce wasn't even in the equation. Ron Cabin, I was there when he got ordained. Him and Kane, and about '83, they got ordained on a Saturday afternoon in the Christmas meeting. Uh, Milton Brown, that was his name. Milton Brown, uh, Far Rockaway, New York, preached the ordination message that morning. They had feet washing after that. Yep, they had feet washing after that. And Ron Cabin and Kane. Was it Robert Kane? No, that was Robert Hunt. Kane, I remember Kane though. Kane would be sitting inside, holding the hand. And then Robert Hunt, that gold tooth, man, hair slicked to the side, man, dude be walking. And I never knew until I talked to one of the McCraneys. It said that Robert Hunt had a leg problem element, and I didn't even know it. The dude would be pimping, walking on the all the ministers would come in during the Christmas meeting, and they'd always come in from that side door from the pastor study, and come in on that side door and walk down that aisle. But Kenley would uh, give his seat up to Frank Hampton sometime, but most of the time it'd be Carl Kenley, Frank Hampton, Robert Kent, not Kane, but because Hunt wasn't ordained. Hunt was a minister, I think. There was another man. All the pastors would sit there during the Christmas meeting, and then the elders or ministers would sit on the front row with the women. Yeah, wasn't that many women ministers though I could think of. You had Margie Salee, Adele Butler, Jesse Walker. Uh, you had Faye Wilson. Uh, who else was there? I didn't know nobody from Chicago that was a ministry over there except Eric Jones' mama. Because I think that's what church they came out of. I think Eric Jones, or either Eric Jones or his wife, came out of uh, Willie Gordon's church down there at 4601 South Drexel Boulevard, right there in Chicago on the south side, right down from Cook Convention Center. Because we would walk down there, we would leave there on Saturday, and we walked down there on Sunday morning to have our morning service down there at the Cook Convention Center on the last day of the meeting, and that was during Memorial Day. Chicago always hosted Memorial Day. Jackson did Labor Day. Uh, Plainfield, New Jersey did Thanksgiving, and Springfield did Christmas, 4 major holidays. And then you did Easter in your local church. That's how they did it. Church of God. I grew up in. And Adele Butler was all right, but in my younger days, I resented women preachers. I couldn't stand her. She was a devil reincarnate. She didn't take no shit though. She knew that Bible. For somebody that was blind, she could read that Bible with her finger. I'm telling you, she wasn't no joke either. And my little sister used to act just like her. Didn't even really know her, but act just like that woman when she was real young. Because my sister wanted to be a preacher, and my sister used to sit there, man, and be just like Adele Butler, clap her hands, stump her feet, and point her finger until you going to hell. When she was a little girl, Keita did. Keita Adele. Keita named after her. But if you notice, all my mother's kids' names are Africans. My mom was a hoe back in the day. Also, she used to fuck with was Africans. and all her kids got African names. She got an American husband, a nigga, but all her kids got African names. Yakita, Yonsei Sean, all of them but Kobe. I named Kobe. Kobe's named after the singer Alexander O'Neal. I named Kobe. George added the sir to it. Kobe Alexander O'Neal, that's his name. And his first name, his legal first name is Sir. Sir Kobe Alexander O'Neal. I named him. Over the phone. Over the phone. I was listening to a song called Sunshine by Alexander O'Neal. They called and told me she went into labor. I was laying in the bed. She went into labor and took her to the hospital. And George called to check on me to see what I was doing. I said, hey, they that boy Alexander O'Neal, man. Something just came to my mind. They named him that too. They threw that Kobe shit in there, but I told him his name Alexander O'Neal. They added Sir and Kobe. You got London. He got eight. He got 8 motherfucking names. His name is London Rayon Daydome Baydome. Some shit. Some African name. All of them got African names. You know. But quiet as kept, my mom like white man too. Raised me to be a racist, but my mom, when she tried to kill her husband, she was fucking with that white dude down there at Chase Lounge. Having an affair with him down there at Chase Lounge down there on 235. She didn't think nobody knew about that. I know all about it. Yeah. I know all about it. Oh, I know what's wrong with me. I ain't had nothing to drink. You give me a pop. Hey man, I was wanting to talk today, man. I've been on here about 45 minutes. I want to talk to you. You know, tell you what it is, you know. Yeah. You know, I be getting cold so quick. I really do, you know, and everything. Somebody bought me a stand, and I'll use it. I don't usually use it, but I pick it up sometime. You know, if I need it, my hands free. You know, everything. I need the emails I've been getting. I don't know what that's all about. I'll tell you, every time I do a live, somebody be, you know, in my inbox. Yeah, I try to tell you. See, people be on my lives, and then you know these weird ass chicks be sending me goddamn videos and shit on Messenger and shit. Thinking I'm gonna entertain that. I'm on live. I don't stop my lives, you know, because you know people be trying to distract me. Turn it on. Damn, 3 hours. Shit, this is a long one today. Damn. At least I'm saying something. Shit. Oh, we're going to listen to some music. And, I want to listen to some music and yeah. Oh no. You know, I was I was telling my grandson the other day. Uh, he said something about a dog. No, my granddaughter. My granddaughter called me. Or my daughter called me. It was it was going to the store. I told my granddaughter, I got a dog. And she said, "Oh, you got a dog?" I said, "Yeah, I got a Rottweiler." She said, "No, you don't." I said, "I got a Rottweiler and a tiger." You're sure what I'm talking about? It's gonna crack you up. Well, it probably won't. You know, y'all think I'm crazy. So I know this ain't gonna make you laugh. I know this ain't gonna make you laugh. This is crazy. I told her this was a goddamn Rottweiler. That motherfucking I told her I had a tiger. Hey, I told her I had a tiger and a Rottweiler. All right, watch this. Here's the tiger. Here's my tiger I got. Oh, little tiger. I always keep figurines and shit. I don't know if anybody remember when I was younger. In my apartment, I had my little basketball. I used to always keep little, knickknacks and stuff. That was my grandma. My grandma kept knickknacks and stuff around the house. And everything like that. This is my tiger, my green-eyed tiger. His name is Tony. Yep, Tony Tiger. He always feeling great. He always smiling. Yeah, I got my Rottweiler. Here's my little Rottweiler. Yeah, I told my granddad, I said, "Yeah, I got a Rottweiler. Cleveland Browns, of course. See that? Cleveland Brown. Cleveland Brown. Yeah. So I have my little Rottweiler, and I keep him on the shelf over there in the corner. And I'm gonna show you what I broke too the other day. I was sitting here. I think that cat did it. I don't know. No, anyway, that no, anyway. Uh, I had I bought a collect. I collect a lot of shit. I collect sports memorabilia, different shit like that. And I bought this ceramic bowl that I was going. Really, I was going to use it for soup. Uh, and I fuck around. I don't know how I broke it. I'm gonna show it to you though. You can't tell it's broke. I'm gonna try to take it somewhere and get it fixed. But this was I was gonna use it for soup. You know, I'm holding it together because it's actually like cracked all the way together. This thing weighed about 6 pounds. But I had bought this to use for soup and was leaning on the edge of my sofa table, and Gizmo was up there doing what he do best in my shit, and he hit the table, and look what happened. So I just got it, all the little pieces that I could save of it. I put it together until I can get down, until I get down to the store in a couple days. I'm gonna go down and get me some ceramic glue or something I can use probably to fix it. I really liked it. She just cracked all the way down through there on the side, all the way around, everything like that. So I gotta try to put that back together, to fix it because it's fucked up. You know what I mean? Usually they want help me Jesus, help me Jesus. Gizmo, they want to see your face. Go over on the couch so you can see your face. They want to see what you're working with. I don't know what the fuck is going on with your girlfriend, but if she scratched my screen one more goddamn time, it's gonna be trouble, trouble, trouble. All right, I'm out now. I'm going to show you my tiger, my tiger and my Rottweiler. I want to show you that. I want to talk to you from the heart today. Enlighten you on a few things, share a few things, give you a few experiences, erase some of the mystery, give you some of the history so you can erase the mystery and you can know what makes me tick and top, and everything like that. I got about 875 people blocked. I'm going to be unblocking them today on Facebook sometime today, if I can remember. I'm going to unblock them today. My friends list seem kind of low because I got most of them people blocked and restricted. Probably more than that because at one time I had 6,000 followers. So I don't know what I did. I know I deleted a lot of people, blocked a lot of people. But I'm going to unblock them. Cause I just heard Laura say they need to see me live. They need to see it happen. Many clouds of witness. Let's see. Shout out to Marvin Winans. Marvin Winans came out with a song, Just Don't Want to Know. Some shit you just don't want to know, really. Some shit you wish you just never hear about, and it'll save you a whole bunch of time and disaster. Some shit I wish I would just never found out. Some people I wish they just would have stayed in their closet, not called me and sent me no emails, no information about nothing. Sometimes I just wish that. But I'm glad it did because his word don't return void. He's gonna expose people, and especially if they're trying to harm you, God gonna expose them, and He gonna make sure you safe in His arms. Yeah, He gonna do that. And I don't always feel safe either. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't. But I know I am. I just don't. I'm human. I don't feel it sometimes. I be feeling like, God damn, man. Just drop a nuclear bomb right here and we get it over with. But you know, He won't let me smell like smoke. He won't let no soot be under my nails. He won't let. He won't even let me die. I mean, my heart doesn't stop 5 times, and I don't know why. He keep letting me live. I don't know why He love me. I don't know why He do. I don't know why He use me why He do. Even though I'm fucked up emotionally right now, I don't know why He uses me the way He do. I don't know why I'm so calm. All this shit I've been through, all this shit I've been exposed to. I don't know how I'm calm as I am. I don't know how my heart is beating at a regular rate. You know, I don't know how I survived taking all the milligrams of goddamn narcotic anticonvulsant meds. I don't know how I survived it. I don't know what cleared my mind out when I would get mad on weekends and listen to that crazy ass music and be ready to go out and, you know, do some shit. That's how I know I'm not reprobate. That's how I know that I still get convicted. And that's how I know I'm in my right mind. Because I had almost slipped. I had almost fainted. I remember the goodness of the Lord. And I'm still in the land of the living. Woo! Try to get that out. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I be feeling that sometimes. Sometimes I just tell them thank you. I don't be for no reason. Just tell them. You were sparing my mind. You kept me anyway. Sure enough did. I don't know what you thought. Motherfucker next door to me, he always be hitting that alarm on that damn truck. That motherfucking thing be loud as fuck. I don't know why you do that. Hit it 4 and 5 and 6 times. That motherfucker just be beeping and beeping and beeping and beeping. This motherfucker cut this goddamn thing off, please. A weirdo. But doing this motherfucker for 3 hours, man. It's time for me to go. And I appreciate you for the time you gave me today. You gave me shit 2.5 hours more than I anticipated, and I appreciate you for that. All my subscribers, past, present, and future, just thankful for you. You know, sometimes I'm a basket case, sometimes I ain't. Sometimes I told you in the very beginning. Sometimes I have it together, and I can be Superman for only so long. And sometimes I just gotta fall my pride break down, man. Just like, you know what, this is what it is, man. I told you the song Kiki you wrote. Man, Kiki, that song brought me through some shit. This is me. What you see is what you get. And I appreciate you even just taking time out to hear me, watch me, view me. No matter what I say, y'all, and sticking there with me, and I appreciate it. I thought about this song and I gotta go. Mother Madam Wiggly. Over at Pentecostal Temple down there in Memphis. That woman. She sing a song called Step Right In. Step Right In. And that woman be singing that. She drew take that song on. That's how I used to do praise and worship. I take a song, if you didn't catch it, I wasn't sitting down until I caught it. And I had an understanding with my leader. That's when I was just an elder in the church. And I always do praise and worship. If you didn't catch it, me and the musicians had an understanding. And the pastor, we had an understanding. We're going to break through heaven with this song. And I'd always sing a song, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. And we drive that thing, man, until heaven broke. You hear me? Tiny, if you there, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, Lord. we doing a call and response songs, man. Then Gwen Williams would pull them old songs in from damn Florida. She pulled them songs from Florida, honey. And we would have some church in there. She sure enough did. District meeting, even as a pastor, and state official, man, we do praise and worship, man. We had some church, you hear me? As a matter of fact, whenever I hosted the district meeting, I did my own praise and worship. And I'd always have the supervisor. Of course, she was supervisor still. Renee and Benita, B, I call her B. They do songs, but I would open up with praise and worship and praise. Oh yes, oh yes. And we had the best music department. I don't care what nobody say. Lifestone had the baddest music department, second to none. I had musicians in my church, and man, we had church. It wasn't no game. I used to watch my lives every Sunday at 4 o'clock. You know what it was? We had church up in there, and there wasn't no performance either. We had church. There wasn't none but a few of them. But when you watch that live, you think it was about 1,000 folks in there because that Hammond be cranked up. Or the musician one day he might want to be on their keyboard, but man, we had it. And then the place we were using, the guy that was pastoring church, man, he had a guitar, and every now and then somebody come in and play that lead guitar. We'd be in there doing the, oh God, yes. And I hardly ever preach, really. I always have people come in. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have nothing to prove. I had already been preaching 40 years. I didn't give a damn about, you know, I already had it under my belt. I had nothing to prove nobody. I was giving an opportunity to everybody else. Just about every woman in the city of Columbus preached at my church. Just about. And they all sit in my pulpit. Yeah, they did. I was the only Kojic pastor. As a matter of fact, I know I am. I'm the only Kojic pastor, especially in Ohio South. There are a lot of women in their pulpit. And a lot of them didn't like that. Mark didn't even like it. I'm going to be honest with you. Mark didn't even like that because I told Mark I didn't mind it. And if you didn't trust me, I promise you I'm not going to make a fool out of you. And I would let the women come in, but they had to have their head covered. That was my only rule. If you're going to get my pulpit, you had to have your head covered based on uh, 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. You had to have your little dooley on or a hat, something to cover your head. I don't give a damn if it was a blanket. You had to cover your head up if you're going to stand behind that desk, especially if you're a credential holder. You talking about your pastor or minister, you better have your head covered. And we did that. We had good times though. And I miss it. I do miss it though. I do. It wasn't never my desire to pastor this last assignment. I did it as a favor. That's what hurt me so bad. I did the jurisdiction a favor. And then when my covering died, the devil came in and succeeded and took over. The successor came in disguised as an angel of light, but it was a wolf and a devil. And that jurisdiction ain't doing shit still. Can't tell me you do. Because your YouTube page ain't even got 1,000 subscribers. I ain't got 1,000, but you Church of God in Christ. I don't know no coach jurisdiction that's hooked to YouTube that ain't got no following. I don't think you got 100. They had about 50 maybe. I don't know. Last I checked, you had that many. But I unsubscribed from it. I didn't want to look at your face no more. I got tired of looking at your damn face. All that hypocrisy. And then that damn secretary over there, I lost a lot of respect for him. Uh, Dwight Brandon. I had a lot of respect for him until you upheld your wife's cousin's husband. That lets me know you a devil too. That's probably why you didn't win the election. Along with your wife. She didn't want you to be the bishop. So, all y'all on the way to hell. Every last one of you, that whole cabinet over there, Ohio South, y'all going straight to hell. Every last one of you. I don't think none of y'all saved, especially if you following George Carter. A few blind mice, and y'all all going to hell. They ain't doing shit. Swapping money and telling lies and covering up corruption. But that's all I'm going to talk about. I didn't want to talk about no church folk, but I did. I just want to tell how I feel. I got to get on some music, to comfort my soul for a while, and then maybe wait till the sun go down and then come back and play you a couple gospel hits, get you ready for tomorrow. Because I got to do that gold nugget tomorrow. Do that every Sunday. I got to do that tomorrow. Uh, And I want to make sure I'm in the right frame of mind because I take deep thought in what I give out to people when I'm on this live, especially on Sunday morning. And Gold Nugget is vitally important. Uh, Normally on Saturdays I do PowerPoint moments, different things, but today I just want to talk about how I feel. I want to get. It's going to take a while. I'm on an emotional roller coaster. It's going to take me a while. I might come back later, bring some hell. I don't know. I don't know how my emotions are going to react, but it's going to be the same energy. It's not going to be no screaming, hollering, bullshit. It's going to be just like it is because I'm at peace. I'm just hurt, wounded, and very angry, very angry. And I just wanted to share that. You know, as you're on the journey with me, you understand kind of what makes me tick, what kind of creates what I do. Pain. I told you I'm a phoenix. I was born in fire. Yeah. I was born in I was born in the flame of a hot pussy that was, envious and full of devil. And this is what it is. I was born in fire. Yep. And cost me a lot of damage in my life. Yep. I'm a fighter. You fight on, fight on, fight on. You fight on, fight on. Yeah, you got to fight on. Shout out to that fat boy down there, and I forget what that boy named, that little mixed boy. Be driving semi trucks, be dancing all over that. I don't know what his name is. His name Elder Jacobs. That boy name is. Somebody Jacobs is overseer. I don't know what he is, but I know he weighed about 500 pounds riding that semi truck and always be dancing and speaking in tongues, giggling and shit. I think that's him. He can dance. I don't know if he Indian, white, Chinese, biracial. I don't know what he is, but that fat boy can dance. He can move them feet. He's wearing that purple cord. He ain't coded. I know that because the cord ain't regulated. It's not a regulated cord. I know he's not coded. The cord is like that goddamn thick, so he can't be coded. I don't know who he is. His name is Jacob, Elder Jacobs or something. He drives a semi truck. I used to chat with him every now and then on Facebook and Messenger. And then I think he danced so much he didn't dance himself off the internet. He on YouTube and shit now and TikTok and everything. That motherfucker. He sing that song. Fight my battles, Lord. Nobody fights like you. Fight my battles, Lord. Nobody fights like you. Fight my battles, Lord. That motherfucker be up in that pulpit dancing and shit. Motherfucker crazy. You just always do little fat ones be there dancing and moving around and shit. You really having you cracking up and you be like, how the fuck is he moving like that? Then when he get done dancing, they walking like 2 miles an hour. But that motherfucker's feet be moving. I swear to God. He big as hell. I don't understand he lift his feet like that. That motherfucker boy be doing it. I ain't never heard him preach. I hear him do a lot of singing and screaming. I never heard him preach. I want somebody to send me a clip of him preaching. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear all that damn screaming. I can sing, scream too. I just be wanting to hear some substance sometime. Some of that shit just be over the top. I'm out here though. I gave you 3 hours of power. And y'all say a word of prayer for me to know it. If you really right, if you say a word of prayer for me, because I'm going through it in my brain. I really am. I'm going through some changes, honey. That legacy, I'm gonna play that today too. I'm going through some changes. I'm in the middle war. I'm in the middle war right now with the adversary. That music gonna flip the script. It's gonna have me smiling and laughing in a few minutes. I'm gonna put it on. Man, if I can cut this live off. Take care. I'm type my line. I've been on Do Not Disturb now for 3 hours. And my phone ain't ringing, so I've been getting a lot of emails and texts though. So let me check that out. Hey, thank you for stopping in today. Thank you for that long run, the long. Let me see. I'm the long ride cowgirl or cowboy that's been here faithfully for 3 consecutive hours and ain't went nowhere. Thank you. Thank you for the ones that stopped in. Thank you for the 9 likes. Please share and subscribe so you can stay alive. Fine, can you do that? Can you pass the word and let them know that Brother D family's on the air and he really do care? He ain't got no hair. He's not harmful like a bear. You know what I mean? But I do like pears. Don't be scared. Beware that I am here and there and I'm everywhere. I like Care Bears. I do. I like Care Bears, and I love you for that. And Disney was supposed to come up here, did an appearance today, but his stupid ass over there on the floor under his cat bed. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him today, but when it rained like that, he'd be in chill mode. He probably ready for a snack. He usually get a snack every 2 3 hours. It's been 3 hours and 10 minutes, so he probably past due. You know, whatever. Hey, take care. Thank you. Happy Saturday. Hope this was heartfelt. Hope you was able to touch, feel love come from my heart and the pain I'm experiencing. Hope you understand that. But on the flip side, uh, I'm still gonna fuck y'all's world up. I want to end with that, lest we forget. Take care of yourself and trust my prayer. Peace out. I'm out. Mm-hmm. Let me see. What I'm supposed to be doing. What I'm supposed to be doing right now. It says I'm some meeting or something. And no, I'm figuring this out. Together. Yeah, this thing will help you. And everything like that. Everything will help you. Still going, right? Oh, okay. There we go. Now. Take care. Bye bye. Sorry about that.